mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat. We guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mrs. E. Mrs. E.
Are we here? Okay, great. Hey, welcome in, everybody. I am Mr. E. Welcome to Mr. E's Crimecast. Joined by Mrs. E. And, of course, our guest, Auntie E. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I see. We've got a lot of folks already in the chat. I saw was it? Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches got our coffee mug. So that was good to see. I was hoping that the prizes actually went out. We did the true crime trivia a few weeks ago for the members. And I hope the coffee mug doesn't like fall apart on you or anything. So let us know how it is. I'd like to know if it turned out well, because we haven't actually seen it yet. K-Mac, one of our mods, is here also, and Lady D - Tit for Tat, also one of our mods who's been a lot of help to us. Thank you for being in here.
Hi, Rhonda Morgan, Angie Savage, Sharon Shelton.
Yeah.
Let's see who else in here. Hi, Mona. Welcome. Jill. Welcome.
We're doing better. We always have a goal of when to start, and we're only 10 minutes past what we shot for. There's always some technical thing with the sound.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing for sure.
Yeah, we are gonna have to figure out how to do this. Or maybe have a dedicated computer where we don't unhook it all the time.
Right, that's the thing. 'Cause we use this for all kinds of stuff, so we're always unplugging everything and having to set it all back up.
I don't know how to say that, but hello.
Jazz it up. Yeah. So that was, if you don't know, it was Lady T - Tit for Tat who put the music together for us and sent that in. And we had a little vote a few weeks ago to see what would be the better intro, and there were a few different versions, and that was the one everybody liked. And I really look forward to hearing it every time we do the show now. Mm-hmm. So it's I find myself humming it all day, actually.
And let's see, I was gonna say the picture behind us looks askew, but actually when in real life it's not, just so you know. I'm not sure.
It's the angle of our cameras.
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, well, we're not quite centered with the cameras and the setup here and everything.
Well,
so there, yeah. So we've got quite a bit
there must
to
be a
get
lot
to
of people
tonight.
On tonight, because
oh yeah, because
no, our stream is low tonight. We don't have a lot of people on yet.
Well,
if you know some friends that watch us, here, because we're just not going up in numbers right now.
You know how it goes. It's always like 5 or 10 minutes once we get going. Then that's when people pop in.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it
we were
goes.
Also late too, and we apologize.
We were late. We started being on, or maybe they were expecting us to be later.
Oh, that's
they saw
true.
the 7 o'clock and they said, oh, "Okay, well, we'll see them at 8." Yeah.
Also, thank you to our members that are here, Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches, K-Mac, Tit for Tat. Any other members here? Not yet. Let's see. And also, thank you to our subscribers. And just thank you for everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Feels like it's been a long time since we've been on, but it's only been a few days.
You want to start with talking about Angel?
Yeah, I do. So if you were on our last live stream, we did one just on Angel Turner, a missing girl. She's now at 2 weeks out of West Virginia, kind of up in that little panhandle near Pennsylvania.
I'll see if I can.
And she's 15 years old. And I'm not going to go through the entire situation, but we spent basically the whole live stream kind of going through the details of the case. And there's a lot of, it's a very interesting story. The mother's kind of been the spokesperson for the family. And so we went through all of that, kind of had our questions. Carrie, the mom, had a lot of comments for, in our comment section, and helped to clear up a lot of things that we'd had questions about. So I wanted to go through those first because there were just things we weren't sure about. So if you didn't watch the last one, essentially what happened was this girl, when her father wakes up the next morning, she's gone. And most of the evidence seems to be pointing towards a grooming kind of situation, possibly online. That's kind of the leading theory, I think, with everyone. It could be something else, but that seems to be the situation. That's what the mother believes at this point. But we had questions just from the information that we had, because the police haven't done a press conference or anything. So all we have really is coming directly from mom. And she cleared up a few things that we had not known about. One of the questions was why the father might not have woken up in the night. If there was any kind of struggle or the dog barking, anything like that at all.
Okay, that's weird.
What's
Shut
that?
the window.
Okay. Are we being harassed?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe so. It's possible. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. So one of the questions was how the dad might have slept through, if there were any kind of commotion or struggle or anything like that at all. And she did say that he sleeps with a CPAP machine, and that might be why he may not have heard anything going on, like if the dog barked at a stranger or anything. I had also had a question about the gate. There was a gate that led to the girl's room, to keep the dog out while she slept, and they had said it was kind of askew. And she clarified that it was just a regular gate you might prop up, but it didn't look like it had been tossed to the side in any kind of reckless manner. What I was trying to figure out is if there was a sign of a struggle inside the bedroom or home. The other thing she mentioned, the dog was left outside. So this seems to be the biggest clue, in a way, that she didn't plan to leave because the dog was outside. It's like a 60-pound beagle. The mom described it as a potato on legs, basically. But he's a really big beagle, and that he doesn't like the rain. It was going to rain that day. So that if Angel had suspected that she wasn't going to be bringing the dog right back in, or if she was going to be leaving for any length of time, she would not have left the dog outside. So the dog, is a big piece to the puzzle, as far as would he have tried to protect, Angel from someone grabbing her, or if she screamed, anything like that. And would have even been able to, because we weren't sure from the older pictures if the area was even fenced in. She clarified that the dog was in a fenced in area. So, that could explain why the dog might not have, followed her, or kind of leapt to her defense if that were the situation. And, but she did say that if the dog would likely try to protect Angel if he sensed that she was in any danger. Let's see, there were a few other things. The dog wasn't a barker, but not like a crazy barker. Did bark on occasion, but not like some beagles that we've understood. And probably the most important clarification she gave us was those two cars. So the big reason they think that this might be a groomer situation is that she goes missing the night of August 2nd, and she's gone August 3rd the next morning. Well, July 31st, that Thursday prior to her disappearance, there had been two cars. One was a dark-colored SUV, and another was a white four-door sedan at her home, reported by neighbors, I guess when the father was not home or around. And I wasn't sure if these cars were there at the same time or at separate times, but the mother clarified that these were separate events. So there was an SUV there. And she also says it appears it might be two different men. When the SUV was there, it was a Hispanic-looking male, and when the white four-door sedan was there, it was a Middle Eastern-looking male. These are two separate neighbors reporting that. So, could it be possible, I think, that if it might actually be the same person, two different cars, because you might look at a Hispanic male, Middle Eastern male in a distance and not be able to quite tell the difference, possibly. And the Hispanic male was inside the home, so you're also looking through a window, so you may not be able to tell for certain. But that is alarming, of course. And she also clarified that that it was not common for her to have friends over to the house. That she does have several brothers and sisters, and they are all halves. And then outside of that, the only update from the mom, like on her own, she's got her own, like Facebook group that she's running with a podcaster. And she had mentioned that the FBI are now starting to assist and get involved in some capacity. I don't think they're taking over the case. I think they're just assisting. But of course, it would be the local county sheriff running that investigation at this point. Did I miss anything on the updates with Angel?
She did tell us what kind of medication she was on, and we did to kind of determine that she could probably be without those without being very sick, or she might feel a little lethargic or a little off, but it shouldn't affect her in the short term. I think a long time without it possibly would start affect her. That's something she did mention, as the two kinds of medicines that she was on, and it was what I had thought.
Yeah, metformin was one of them. I can't recall the second one, but it's not something that would be
levothyroxine.
Yeah, okay. And so hopefully they'll get some good news soon. Hopefully the FBI will be able to assist. And the mom is beside herself. She's going night and day trying to get the word out, doing lots of interviews and updates. She's on the Facebook page constantly, trying to get the word out there and get people motivated. So we'll continue to follow. Sure.
There was another Facebook page that got started. She wanted people to know that was not her page. Her page is called Help Find Angel Turner. The other one, I think, says something about missing Angel Turner or something like that. But hers is called Help Find Angel Turner, and that is the official one for Angel.
Right. If you want to see what the mom's, the mom has to say, that's the one to go to for sure.
Yeah, Sharon. Yeah, we actually talked about that on our last episode, didn't we? E.
Yes, we did. We did, Sharon. We did talk about that, and you aren't supposed to go without your thyroid medicine, but I have several family members that are on the same medication she was, and if they miss it, it doesn't seem to bother them too much. We were just saying, it's not going to be. It might affect her in the long term, but on the short term, it shouldn't bother her too much. But we're just hoping that she's found before an urgent need arises.
And I also want to say, I am to Bear. Welcome. We're glad you're here too. And Sharon also, hello. And wise old lady. I'm glad we have a wise old lady in our group tonight. And Mona 13, welcome. We're happy to have you guys here.
Yeah. Mona. Yeah, we're all feeling bad for the mom. If you follow that story, it's especially if you listen to that first interview, it's really, it gets you. So, so we'll continue to follow. We'll hopefully we'll have a positive update here any day. If there's any new developments, we'll of course continue to follow that. And we've told the mom that if there's anything we can do to assist, that we'd be happy to just reach out to us and let us know.
And hi there, the real Me Too. Looks like she was late because she was in the grandson was in the pool. Well, I wish I was in the pool. I don't know if we can figure out how to do a podcast
from the pool.
Well, I don't have a pool. Some people have a pool.
You can come and get my pool.
I know.
Just take you a while to get here.
It would take a little bit for me to get there for sure. Let's see. Anybody else in here? Yeah, the pool time sounds amazing, K-Mac says. Yeah, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to start. I'm going to, I'll work on the media and you do the talking.
Yeah, we kind of went with the theme for tonight being just kind of about the gaslighting, the distractions, all the kind of craziness that's going on right now. That's kind of all surrounding Sebastian's story. So kind of wanted to get it, kind of recenter ourselves a little bit. And I was thinking about this after listening to the Lur Lodge the last couple of weeks, because we've been in this for a while. Most of you that are here tonight have been in this Sebastian story for a long time and have been following it from maybe day one or very early on. And it's almost easy to forget why we all were here in the first place. So we just I wanted to step back and remind ourselves that it's really about the kid and finding him and justice for him, or locating wherever he might be. And Lur Lodge it reminded me of that again, because he's got the sibling that has autism, so he has the emotional reaction to all of this that we've had. That I think I know a lot of us. I know just because of speaking to a lot of you through the chat and such, that you either have children that have autism, or family members or friends or special needs, or have been in similar kind of situation, that's why this case in particular stings so badly. And it just gets you, because it's we all kind of live with this kind of fear for this subgroup of people, that you've
grabs
got
your heart.
They're the most special. It's just my opinion that there's certain groups of society we're supposed to protect. We're supposed to protect the babies. We're supposed to protect special needs and the elderly when they can't take care of themselves. That's just what we're supposed to do. And we, this hasn't happened for him so far. We haven't been able to do that. And so we all just get that instinct to want to jump in there and save this child. That's kind of the reaction we all get. And so I think sort of happens over time, partly as we all get upset, emotional about it. Then people get into camps, and then it just gets you so worked up emotionally that it just stirs people up, But when listening to the Lur Lodge guy, just kind of reminded me of how, because he's feeling it fresh, like the fresh wound of, man, this could have been his brother that was in a situation like this. And so let's just kind of remember the whole focus, the whole point of this story is to either bring him home or get some justice for whoever may have harmed him. And so if you are new to this story, just a real brief recap on it. Sebastian Rogers went missing almost 6 months ago. It'll be 6 months on the 26th of this month. So it was February 26th is when he was reported missing by his mother. Apparently without any shoes, not taking his medicine, no money, no phone, no switch, has apparently vanished after a massive sweep and search of the area with thousands of volunteers and all kinds of equipment, unlike anything the state has probably ever done in the past. They weren't able to find him. And after 8 days, it turned into an investigative phase. And there have been little bits and parts that we've all been able to piece together since, but largely this is still a mystery as to exactly what happened. Well, over time, folks are developing theories, but I don't know if anybody's quite got this 100% right, because there's something we don't know, or we would have found him by now. And
that's a good point.
Let's see. I am to Bear says, had he disappeared 6 months earlier, autistic wouldn't have been one of the factors.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, he was diagnosed late at 14 years old. And we don't know really exactly why. I had theorized earlier on, because I just kind of started looking into that other chromosomal deletion syndrome he had and was reading about it. And at one point in that article I was reading, it said that sometimes the kids that have autism and that disorder, it's masked because the symptoms are similar. And so a lot of times they don't recognize that autism trait until later, or maybe never even, because they can have similar, because and a lot of the things he does are those common autistic traits, but could be also the chromosomal, but I don't know if that's why. I don't know. There might've been another reason they diagnosed him later. If you ever, ideally you catch it early.
I think probably, if it were me guessing, is they needed or wanted more services as he got older to deal with some of the adolescent things he might have been experiencing, and they probably could get him a little more special services at the school level, if I had to guess.
That is a possible factor, and that is definitely something parents will try to do, because it does open up a ton of services for your child. And we know he was having trouble with school, and that's the whole reason he was going into his ABA therapy and coming out of school to try to get him set, right? And possibly mainstreamed back into school again. I think that was the long-term goal, as I understand it. Ginger Girl says, what upsets me is the critical timeline of 3 days, no water, and 7 days, no food. Like from when he went missing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, that's why it's so hard to imagine the scenarios where he could be out there on his own.
I'll tell you something else.
Without assistance,
I love Lady Tit for Tat. We're gonna have to figure out.
She's Lady Tit for Tat now.
She's Lady Tit for Tat.
More high society.
High society, yes. I love that she does this. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, just joining in.
It's nice. The recap's nice.
FBI is now involved in the case of missing 15-year-old Angel Turner, West Virginia. Now Sebastian Rogers discussion. Thanks for being here. Yeah, actually, as that FBI thing relates, I just went to look it up today just to see where the FBI gets involved, and because we hear this all the time, we heard it in the Angel case and this one. You hear it all the time. Like, why doesn't the FBI get involved? Well, they have kind of specific triggers that will get them involved in a case, and there's a lot of different kinds of things that can happen, but largely, like just a missing person or even an unalive person, they don't really get involved. They view that as local jurisdictions. The only kind of ways that they would likely pick up Sebastian, from everything I read, would be if they believed he crossed state lines, or if it were part of some larger criminal conspiracy. If he somehow before he went by plane or boat, would be another possible way. Or it was such an extremely high profile case that they felt they had to step in to preserve and take care of the case, basically, like like maybe a serial killer or something along those lines, if it were just super high profile.
Marcia's got some and I can understand why she's upset. Marcia says, what upsets me is the sheriff's department obviously has no leads. Why in the world wouldn't they turn this case over to other agencies? FBI, why? And I think we're kind of going to talk about what we think a little bit. Let's put a pin in that, Marcia, and we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, that's part of it. So tonight's kind of plan is sort of a lot all over the place, as far as like we're kind of going to jump to different topics within this theme of all this distraction and gaslighting, and because I think there's a lot of dishonesty going on in general, and it's very hard to see. Like, if you can find a fact in this case, it's like gold, because everything right now is rumor and speculation.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be laughing. I'm just reading the chat.
Lady D, Tit for Tat is my name. Final answer. I promise. LOL. I'm going to go get to hang out with the E's tonight.
Oh,
it's like
you don't have to give us $5 to tell us that. You're so sweet.
You're like John Cougar, John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp. Just can't quite pick.
It's
name,
okay.
Right?
You can change it 1,000 times because you're a beautiful person and we appreciate you.
Starship, Jefferson Starship.
Yeah. It's just like a band,
yeah.
Right? But you do get some stars. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, lady. We appreciate that.
Lady Tit for Tat. She's just an amazing person. Every day we message in the Discord, and we've gotten, we have good conversations, and I appreciate her so much.
I thought it was interesting. Farmer to Win said he'd lost all respect for Lur Lodge. He would only answer questions if you send super chat amounts in the Sebastian Rogers case. And I get that. However, that is he and his partner. That's what they do for a living. It's their full-time job. So their podcast is their income. So I kind of get that. And I think that was just a way to filter out the questions so that they stayed on topic. What did you think about that?
I don't have I get it. I get why they're doing. It's their career. They're trying to. They're the kind of guys who are trying to hire an editor and all those kinds of things. They have like big plans for their channel.
Yes, they do.
It's hard to know. I don't know. I mean,
I thought it was just a way to filter them out so that they have a specific line that they answered. But, I can get where some people would be a little put off by that if they had some questions they wanted to answer.
Yeah, I get it too.
And on a side note, we won't be answering any questions tonight unless you say, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. No, I kind of felt like they had 2,000 or so people in chat. So in a way it felt like maybe they were,
they couldn't have answered them all.
Right. Exactly. There was a lot going on in chat, and I kind of felt like it was a way to kind of highlight the people who were serious about getting their questions answered. But I also could see why somebody would be put off by it, because at first I thought it was a little odd, but Auntie's correct. That is their career. And so, if that's the way they want to do it, I mean, there's some, creators that do shows where you vote for people and pay and give them money and stuff for different things. So, but I understand Farmer's point as well. You know me, I'm kind of, I tend to put myself in both sides.
When you put things, when you do paywall kind of anything, you do run the risk of alienating your fans.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a risk they take, and people will feel that way if you put, but then again, you also want to reward people that have supported your channel. Right. And so it's hard to find that balance. That's why to us, we were like, I didn't really want to put like content behind a paywall that was about the case. That's why I was like, well, when Mrs. E came up with the trivia idea, it's like, oh, okay, well, we could do that for the members. And that way they're not missing anything other than a trivia game. They're not missing, but the members get a reward for supporting the channel, and we get prizes or whatever and have fun. But then again, we're not like, members
only videos.
Paywall, because paywalls turn me off also. I won't click.
Totally.
I don't care how interested I am in a news story. I'm not paying the $1 to watch it, read it. I'm just
right.
It turns me off. I just feel like get it through your ad revenue or something else. So I get that feeling.
I did actually appreciate though that they have a $1 membership. I thought that was really kind of neat, because they're saying, hey, just give us $1 a month, and they've got 500,000 people. So if they get $1 a month from all 500,000 people, that'd be kind of amazing.
Wow.
So,
but either way, their work is really good, and his research is excellent. I mean, he's as detailed on his sourcing as anybody I've seen on YouTube, frankly.
I did have a little bit of discrepancy with this last one, because he really had not watched the flashlight video or the vehicle video, and he had not, and so he kind of dismissed those as the trash truck, the way that it was kind of brushed off. But as we've seen more copies of that video and in much more enhancement, it does not look like a trash truck. And he really dismissed that part of it. And that was kind of disappointing, because I think he needs to search a little further with those videos. Yeah.
And to me, the flashlight car video and all that was a game changer as to how I thought about the whole case.
Me too.
So he's missing out until he actually watches it. I think he just said he was burnt out at that point. He'd been doing it for 3 solid weeks.
He said he was fried. Yeah.
And he just kind of needed a break from it. So I kind of get that too.
Well, but I also think that, like the rest of us, it's going to be a situation where he'll go back to it.
Oh, yes.
I really think so. Just when I think I want to try to think about something else, it comes back. So.
Well, he's already doing that. So if you watched his, I
didn't see all of it. Yeah.
If you watched, so he did the 3-part series on Sebastian, which was great. But then he did, I guess he's been doing like a missing person series. It seems like it's like related to like Appalachia and like mountainous areas. I think I don't know his older stuff, but that seems to be his thing. And he was telling like this story from the 1950s, and I'm not going to give it away because it's really well done. If you want to go watch it, it was the one before his chat. But it was about a little girl that goes missing in the mountains, and he talked about the dad.
It was really good.
It was really good. I'm not going to give away like the ending on anything.
It was really good. Go watch it. It was great.
But he the dad, when he's describing him, had a reporter with him the whole time. So it's like 1957, right? And the dad was talking about how guilty he felt for resting, and that rest amounted to him sitting by a campfire for a few minutes and an hour and a half sleep.
Right.
you know, and it's like, wow, that's a dad right there, right? Trying to find a little girl. And of course that always makes me think of the situation.
You start comparing the parents' behaviors for sure.
But so did Lur Lodge. So when you don't realize
don't give it away.
Oh, really?
No, it's okay. It's fine.
I was just going to say, so did because it's actually, people might want to go see it if they don't realize it's there, because he doesn't put it in the description.
But the story in and of itself is great.
But when he gets to the end of his thing, then he goes into a new Sebastian thing about Chris and searching and how little of that has happened and kind of his. But so anyway, it was, what I'm saying is, I think they are now also haunted by this story a little bit, that they're going to have a hard time shaking it loose, because this one just gets under your skin with all this stuff that you learn.
I think he saw a lot of similarities of Sebastian and his little brother too, and he has a little brother with autism. If you all didn't know that, and so I think that's why the case is so special to him as well. But I think he has really immersed himself into the point where he's like about lost his mind and needed a break from it.
I get it. We do the same thing. We have to step away from it sometimes. You got something?
Oh, I just wanted to say hello to some of our friends. It's so, I don't know if you guys are like this when you were in chat, but I try to keep my eyes on the chat and see what's going on, and I see some of people, everybody's names start to get familiar and stuff, and so I saw Ginger Girl's here, but we already acknowledged her, and Rocco Love is here, and Busy Mama, and then Lisa's here. And I saw Hermitage Hermit somewhere. I just happy to have people join us.
Absolutely.
It's fun. It's like it's like a family reunion every time.
People are rolling in. It started out, that's how it goes.
You haven't gotten to the meat of everything yet either, though. So they all know that we talk about other things for the first few minutes.
We'll
Hi, Tori Wheat from Grant Pass, Oregon. Oh, that would be fun if you guys wouldn't mind to put in chat where you're from. I would love to know. I know where a lot of you are from, but some of the newer people. Those of you hiding in the bushes.
Busy Mama said, in my opinion, the car video changed my thought on everything. And I think that's kind of the way we felt as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've said this 2 or 3 times on our show.
Sharon's from Bristol.
But
that's the famous race, right?
I remember when Mrs. E, we were sitting outside and she was watching that video on her phone for the first time. And I remember when that light came on the car, where you could see that it was a car parked out on, she literally did one of those, like a sudden gasp, like it was all clicking, And I think it was one of the biggest reveals in a way I think we've had, right? In this case, since it all started.
In case those of you out there didn't already know, he's very amused by most everything I do. I know I seem kind of subdued on here, but he is thoroughly entertained by me.
Yes. So that when she did that, I knew it was like I knew that one was a big deal for you, because you don't react that way to things.
No, I don't. If you get a laugh or a big reaction out of me, it's a big deal.
But that big audible gasp like that, where you were sucking in that air, I was like, well, she was really, and it was like that. It changed the whole way you view the case. It was like hearing Chris and Katie speak for the first time.
Oh, and
when you heard that the first time, you're like, whoa, there's something not right here.
Right.
Well, I want to just mention where everybody's from. I know K-Mac. I know you're in Memphis. Busy Mamas in White House. I Am Two Bears in Minnesota. Lisa's in Southern Kentucky. Awesome. Oh, Tam here's from Utah. Feel the love, Nano. Hey, from New Sea, North Carolina. And then Tracy is just mentioning that it's not a protest, it's a voice for the voiceless. And actually, we're going to get to that in just a little bit. It's on our list of things to do. It's not.
It's an interesting thing going on there, So we kind of. So let's do.
Well, we'll save it.
Okay.
We are going to talk about it because there's multiple things going on that maybe people aren't aware of. So we're going to talk about that. Oh, Minnesota. Feel the love says I'm a bushwatcher. That's hysterical. New Jersey, Rocco. I would have never guessed New Jersey. So I'm just kidding. Let's see. Well, hello everybody. Virginia. Sue's from Virginia. Let's see. I think somebody might be getting ready. Okay, if you guys hear that noise, our son with autism.
It's a happy sound. It's okay.
It's a good sound. He's happy. So he gets a little silly.
He's usually winding down by this time.
Yeah, by bedtime. He's a little bit wild tonight.
Yeah.
So I may have to step out here in a minute.
Back to school week's a little stressful.
Yes, it's actually week 2. And so tomorrow will be prize day because we get prizes for going to school.
Oh, yes. Friday.
So, yeah. Did you have a question?
No.
You just, you look distracted.
I was looking at what she
and
had said.
Tracy's from Milwaukee. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you guys all here tonight. And whenever you're ready, I can pull up whatever you want first.
Well, I think it was I think if you've all been, I guess it's been about a week since we've really talked about Sebastian or so, since we've done a show just on him. So basically what's happened over the last week, we haven't been on since the
talking about the Betty
court case or any of this. We haven't been, other than because we were doing a show just on Angel really, because we just kind of wanted to give her own place for people to learn.
And it's not like it's a show that we're trying to get, or not trying to get, we're trying to get her name out there, but it was not, a very popular video, and that's okay because it's about getting her information out there.
Yeah, well, we know that anytime we go another story that we're going to, it's not going to be as much as watched a video because it's just not going to be the people that are following us are largely invested in this story, but that's okay. We don't, in a way, we don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. No.
It's like, it's
not in a way we don't.
We don't. Well, we do and we don't because it's like, you have a responsibility. We started to feel, we didn't expect to have this many people watching the channel at this point at all. So we didn't realize how many people we would have potential to reach. And then once you realize how many folks we're reaching, then you start to feel some responsibility and you start to think, well, there are these other stories that are not really mainstream. But if you do too many of those stories, then you're going to drop in all those algorithms and views. But so,
it does mess with the algorithm when you have a video that doesn't get many views, but that's okay.
Because the algorithm tries to predict what you are going to do. And when you take a detour, it doesn't know what to make of you, right? That's the way the computer thinks. Right. And, but I don't care. If we have this platform where we're reaching people, we're going to do some stories that we think
are important.
And the Angel one, I was one of the more fulfilling episodes for me that we've had, since we've done this, because that little girl is in urgent danger and I think she might be alive. So it felt like, let's do this. Let's get this out there. Maybe somebody maybe other YouTubers will see it and go, oh, okay, let's do this story. And it'll just, continue to go. And lots of folks are doing it. And, but anyway, so
I just wanted to say Just Ice for Innocent is from the UK, and I didn't realize that. And it must be very early or very late. So we appreciate you being here. And then hello, Golden Lily. I'm just kind of looking through. And The Real Me Too, I do know that it's called The Gathering of Voices. The reason we'll get to the protest part. It's not, anyway. Yeah. I don't want you to think I'm being dismissive of it because I'm not. It's things that we are hearing through the grapevine about it we'll just talk about it later. I just don't want you to think I'm being dismissive of it. And that we're also going to talk about the vigil that's coming up as well. So we're just trying to stay on track because you guys that have watched us long enough know that we get distracted and we get off on tangents.
Like, I don't know why I started talking about that Angel thing first. So I don't even know what got me off in that direction.
We legitimately make an outline and try to stick to it, but we're bad at it. So I'm trying not to get distracted. So I'm not ignoring anybody in chat. I just am trying to stay focused. So,
basically,
Auntie, you're muted. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Auntie.
I said thanks to Trishy818. She said using your channel to spread awareness is wonderful. I love your purpose.
Aw, Trishy, you're sweet.
We just have to be careful in how we balance it, because if we don't also, like, if we lose our audience,
Mhm.
then we also don't have a platform anymore. Then we're
So
so
yeah,
there's some responsibility. So bear with us if we
we'll go up and down, but
we'll go,
yeah, it's
but
fine.
but and then plus with Sebastian, we never want to just go on and just talk about Sebastian for the sake of talking about him. We have to have purpose and things that we've researched and to say, and not just kind of spin our wheels. So, like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also wanted to say while we're talking about it, if you guys that have not already liked the video, if you could like the video, it does help us with the algorithm. When we do the less popular stories, we drop in the algorithm and people can't see us. So if you wouldn't mind, we would appreciate it if you would give us a quick like, or if you feel inclined to share, we'd appreciate that too. And so if you feel inclined to subscribe, that's also helpful. And we just, we appreciate you guys so much.
Very much so. And
Australia. Awesome. Hi, Ray Thomas from Australia. Welcome. Or Thomas. What am I saying? It's not Thomas. It's Thompson. Sorry, I'm losing my mind.
So what we basically, the way the last week or so had looked to us was that it was almost just like a ton of distractions and really hard to nail down any real facts or anything coming out of what was going on. One of the example to us was this story about this lady who believed she had posted on a Facebook group that she was 100% certain that she knew where Sebastian was and that he was alive and she needed to get a hold.
I don't have that post, but I do have the response. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Either's great. I really actually, I don't know about you guys, but I actually kind of felt bad for that lady, because she kind of
she's adorable.
That post got blown up, and you go look at this lady's profile.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
And that this was she's
adorable.
Yes,
what she is.
There's not a malicious bone in this lady's body. You can
He
just
just
see it
wanted
all over,
to help.
You can see it all over her face that this is just a sweet lady, and she saw she thought she was helping, and I'm sure she believed that she had evidence that Sebastian was alive. And sometimes, just the hope can cloud our judgment on things. We all have what we want to have happen. And, she saw the picture of him someone at a school, right? Is that what it was she saw? And believed that he was there. And, of course it's not, but there's so many stories like this, these things that pop up that are not really, I don't know, they're not really newsworthy or really directly relating to Sebastian. Are you pulling the
I was pulling her picture up because she's adorable.
Yeah.
She's adorable. She's everybody's mom.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
I know we were.
Well, I'm not going to leave it up for long. I just want to give you guys a general idea. She got confused. She watched a video or read. I mean, I'm not really sure how she got her information, but she, really thought she was helping. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I'm sure actually TBI has probably gotten a few hundred tips like that from people with the same motive. It's just hers was on Facebook and it got blown up, kind of,
Oh, there's some differing opinions about this. I don't know though. I didn't see her other post, Tough Love Bug. This is something. Whoops. Let's see. I didn't see her other posts.
Well, no, I know she didn't trust law enforcement, and that's why she wanted to go straight to Seth. And there's a lot of, sometimes there's a lot of people that have the opinion that you can't trust them.
And Sharon's right. She did mean well. I really do. I don't think I really don't. Do you want to show Tony's response to that?
If you got it handy.
I do have it handy.
Because I don't remember the details that he put up.
I can do that. Just give me a second. You do the words and I'll do the text. Let's see. I think it's that one. Yeah.
I get all these Sebastian pages mixed up.
I do too.
Because they've all got such similar names. But whatever one that
Seth runs, hard to read.
Okay, yeah, let me do something real quick. I think I can zoom in. Did that help?
Yes, lots. That's much better.
How about this?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Hold on, I'm gonna get it all
centered for us.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Hello. I hope you all are well and that you had a great weekend. I wanted to address the post and comments made by Donna Fowler regarding 100% proof that Sebastian is alive. While we all agree that this type of news is what we hope to hear. There is no proof of that. I spoke directly to Donna, a very nice lady, regarding the information she had. And here is the short version. She is talking about the alleged sighting at the Walmart in Cleveland, Tennessee in April. She took that information and began to research the autism centers in that area. She found a place by the name of Luddick Spectrum Center in Cleveland, Tennessee. She saw a couple of pictures on the website of the children currently in the facility and thought that 2 of them in the pictures could be Sebastian. After speaking with Seth, we both agree that the kids in the pictures were not Sebastian. We do appreciate Donna and anyone else that comes forward with information. Hope this clears everything up, and we appreciate your thoughts, prayers, and support. And the thing is if anyone sees someone they think is Sebastian, they should pass it along.
Right.
The problem is he looks like so many kids. There's so many, with glasses are so masculine.
In this day and age, there's a lot of kids that have a similar look.
You see kids like him all the time with the glasses like that, dark hair kind of in the face and all that. And it's hard to tell.
And K-Mac has shown us pictures of her child, and her child is identical. There are kids out there that look like him.
So
let's see.
With all the stories, there was kind of the thought that how many of these should we get into, cover, and that kind of thing? And if you've been with us for a while, most of the stories that are out there that are getting reported, and I absolutely am not thinking of any one particular creator, because I can think of 6 or 7 that I've seen over the last week or so, but they will have one source. And it's anonymous. That's a lot of the stories that are out there. And over the last 3 months or so of us doing this, if you know us, I don't like one source stories that are anonymous because we can't. People are usually anonymous for a reason, and they're usually sending out a story for a reason. Because they're usually trying to spin something. They've got a purpose. Sometimes it's a whistleblower. Sometimes it's somebody actually trying to do good. Sometimes they're releasing something because they're trying to shape a narrative or whatever. So most anonymous stories, in my own personal experience, is that they usually turn out to be either completely false or mostly partly false. So I don't like to pass those along until we can verify them. To me, it's different when you've got a face. If it's a one source and we know who it is, like JLR with the Bobby interview or something, that's one source, but she's willing to put her name behind it. We know we can vet her, and kind of measure her. But anonymous source, we don't even like to use anonymous sources ourselves because we do get information.
Hold on.
Sure.
Before you get into that, thank you, Lady T. She gifted a membership and Fat Bottom Girl, love that song.
Yeah.
Received it. So congratulations, Fat Bottom Girl. And for our new members, real quick, and I know this drives some people crazy. I'm sorry, but
Gotta celebrate.
we have to celebrate.
Gotta celebrate.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Lady T.
And thank you, Lady T. You're very sweet. She's so good to us.
Yes, it's very nice of you. And,
she's so good to us. Okay, sorry. You wanted to get into that.
So yeah,
I knew you were getting ready to get really passionate. So okay, and you guys, all the gnats were gone. I swear.
We are winning the war.
We are winning the gnat war, except for whatever reason, there's this residual gnat that keeps flying in my face.
It's the straggler. There aren't many left. So we get. So anyway, I know these stories are out there. We're aware of them. We track them, but we just can't run with them because we don't know. Most of these people like unless I followed somebody for a very long time and I've got a sense of what their reporting is like. Most of these YouTubers, I don't know. They're brand new to me for like the last month or two, and I don't watch anyone outside of like Deception Detective with any regularity. I kind of hop around a deal. So I don't know about their sourcing and their, what they do. They might be great sources, but I don't know. I can't talk to them. So like we get stuff that's people email us things or reach out to us or contact us directly with information. And sometimes, some of it's good seeming. Like we think we have gotten things over the last few months that we've thought, that are good information that people would like to know if we can verify it. But we don't want to, even one source that reaches out to us that has something, they might have a misunderstanding, or they might have misheard something, or kind of, and it's off kilter, or been misled or something, wherever this came from. And if we run with that, you're only as good as your reputation, right? And so if we come out with, we've got some things that have been sent to us that we've just kind of been holding on to until we can. Now, as soon as we can double source it, we will be glad to pass that along. We just can't now, just because you're only as good as your reputation. We come out here and like there's one thing that I always think about that we know or think we know that's from someone that I know is not trying to deceive us. Would make would be a huge show. Would be like the thumbnail. We could already imagine it, and it would be like a piece of evidence. If it were true, the police definitely would already know about it. The public wouldn't, and it would change. If it ends up being true, it would make some things make a lot of sense. And but if we're wrong, if we put that out there, and then this thing goes to trial, and it turns out that what we put out was incorrect, then we're going to look like fraudsters or whatever, and we'll lose credibility with many of you. And and it's important. So it's not worth it, right?
No, we've could I say we've received several things that shape our opinions.
Yes.
And theories.
and theories, and Auntie is aware of them, but we are not going to share them publicly for a variety of reasons. But
they would be game changers.
Actually, all three things that we are aware of and will not share would be, I don't know, mind blowing. 50,000, 100,000 view videos. If we talked about them. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. And somebody might come out with it before us, and that's okay if that happens. But
and that's okay. Yeah, it's absolutely okay, because we want everything completely verified. We want to have multiple sources, just like journalists. We want to have that integrity, I guess.
If we can't vet the source at 100%, we're not going to share it.
But so that's like, if I'm not willing to pass along a single source that we've got, then I'm definitely not taking a single source from another reporter and passing along their stuff until I can kind of, unless their single source has been reporting to them over time, that can happen, where they're constantly getting information. And if it starts to turn out right, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, we can run with this because so-and-so, they seem to have an inside track with this person. So anyway, that's kind of how we look at it. So that's why we're not one there. I know, you probably are thinking of your own examples. Maybe some I don't even know, because we don't listen to everybody out there. But that's why we don't kind of jump on everything that pops up.
Right. I was laughing at Garrett. So Garrett's first part says, "Yeah, thanks for that. I'm glad you don't share." Versus and he has BS, but all I saw was BS at first, and I was like, "Oh, Garrett's mad at us. Garrett's all mad. I don't know what we've upset Garrett." And I'm sure he's been with us a long time, and we've upset him.
I am two bears not too happy with this either. She said saying that and then not telling is just as maddening, and I get that. But
I get that, but we have discussed it internally.
We thought about it. I mean, we really thought about
it. We almost did on one of them. We almost did, and I'm glad we didn't.
Had to rein it back in.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't, because I think that it would have shaped some things that, I don't know, it just wouldn't have. At least some of the things that we know, just would have shaped opinions. Yeah. And I don't want to shape people's opinion on things.
Could be wrong.
Could be wrong. Although our sources are really good. but they're not, but we don't have multiple verified sources for the information. Exactly.
you live in that small community as well. Being cautious is wise. That is true.
That
too.
is right, Ginger
It is a
Girl.
factor.
That is a factor for us and something that we've become very aware of lately.
Yeah. It's also
Could you
helping
put
with
up our
sourcing,
email?
though.
Could you share our email again? Somebody was asking for our email.
Okay, now we've got 2 Nats. What's going on? I have not seen Nats
Who's
all day
sharing the-
long. Oh, someone wanted our email?
Yes, please.
I didn't see it. Where did it come through?
Anyway,
Tough Love Bug asked for our email to share some theories.
Oh, okay.
So I just
Can
thought
you put it up?
in
Are you
the
going to
chat.
put up?
No, it's already up.
Oh, it's already.
It's already up.
So, any
I am too embarrassed,
Auntie-
but I thought we were friends. Okay, now there's 3. Okay, what's going on?
yeah,
I'm mad now.
Auntie, do you have anything on that part of it before we get into the Nick Baris stuff?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean,
Hi, Bobby
think-
J. It
I
doesn't
think
matter
we
that
did
you're
it.
late. We're just happy you're here.
yes, we're glad you're here. But I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Nick Baris stuff. Do you want to do?
Garrett's like, oh no, they're back. I'm telling you guys, we had a whole stream without one Nat, and now
They're drawn to these lights. is
it's
what
the
it is.
night and the lights.
It's the lights.
And I
that
meant to.
specifically have.
We went shopping today, and I meant to buy those things that Aunt E told me to buy, and I forgot.
Oh, yeah, you were there too.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would have had them.
I know.
Should I just read the Nick Baris, or do you want
I've
to put
got
it
it.
up?
I can pull it up, and you can read it. You can do.
Do you want to do the originals or just the new one?
Let me get it pulled up real quick. I was just going to do the new one. I thought that's the one you wanted to talk about.
I mean that's okay. That's okay.
We're not going to go through the other.
Yeah, I can
one.
just kind of briefly describe what
just
happened
go
in the
on
other
and
two.
While I'm
So,
working on that, you can do it.
so
Parents said, oh no, they're back.
if you're not familiar, Nick Baris is with WSMV channel. Is it W or is it channel
It's
5?
not going to show the whole thing.
It's a
for
CBS
him.
affiliate, and
I can scroll up and down, but it's not going to show.
Yeah,
it.
that's okay.
Can you blow it up a little bit like the other one?
I'm trying. It's not doing it.
you can skip all that and just go to first,
Okay.
because the rest of that's not really relevant.
Okay, hold on. It's still
So-
not. Oh, there it goes. Ooh.
If you followed Nick Baris, you probably saw this. You might have seen some other YouTubers talk about it, I'm guessing. But Nick Baris is kind of he's the mainstream local television
Sorry.
reporter that's mostly been following this case more so than probably any other mainstream local reporter. And he has some kind of connection at the sheriff's department and regularly gives updates. I think he gets a lot of emails about it, and people just keep demanding more information. And so at times he has seemed to be, because at Sumner County, I don't think they have a public relations
I'm making
person.
it really big.
Sometimes
for
they have a
everybody.
public information officer, like a PIO, but Sumner County must not have one. I think they basically try to use Nick in that capacity to relay whatever it is they want to say. And I understand why he does that. I get it. If he doesn't do it, then they'll just go to a competitor, and they'll be the ones getting all the information. So I get why he would want to cultivate that source and not burn them and upset them or whatever, right? So he several days ago, he put out a post about this whole situation, and it was a really strange tone. He was saying that Chris and Katie were not suspects, and he was going on about armchair detectives and couch potatoes and all this kind of stuff with YouTubers. And I think he was commenting on the Bullhorn Betty case and wasn't even really familiar with the case, but was immediately kind of taking the side that she must be a stalker, harasser, whatever.
Mhm.
Without where he's normally more
Even-keeled.
and balanced. He was kind of like, yeah, she's been doing this. And I don't even know that he knew her name at that point. So as you can
He
imagine,
might have and just did not want to give her that publicity.
so there were several things throughout that original post that people, like the comment sections, blew up, especially the part where he was saying that Chris and Katie were absolutely not suspects, and he got a lot of pushback on that. People basically saying what's obvious to all of us, that no one has been cleared, right? Well, then he did maybe 20, 30 minutes later an edited post that wasn't a whole lot better, but it took out a little bit of that kind of hostile tone that he had to it. And then 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, he did this post about Sebastian again. And the beginning of it's just kind of like recap of Sebastian, whatever. And but this is where, and he still kind of has this tone. There's something about this when you read all of his other stuff, it lacks this sort of indignant, defensive posture that he's taken with Sebastian. I don't quite understand it. He doesn't do this really with his other writing, and I don't.
No, he doesn't.
He just does. He's been a reporter in Nashville for I think 15 or 20 years, somewhere in that range. I mean, he's been here a long time. He's done a lot of big stories, so it's just strange. I can't quite put my finger on what's going on with Nick in this story. If he's just frustrated with it, with all the constant questions, I don't know what it is, but anyway. So this was his latest. First, so I guess I'll just read it. Yeah, I'll just read the whole thing, right? First, let me clarify about I think I'll do.
That's okay. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Okay. First, let me clarify
from your phone so it's easier, or do you think you can read it like that?
So first, let me clarify about a post I took down a few weeks ago. I did so because of details in the post I probably could have explained better, and then comments took off with assumptions. I hope this clears up any misconceptions. I know many of you believe Sebastian is the victim of foul play. That very well may be the case, and many believe his mother or stepfather or biological father may be involved. All I can say is that to date, authorities tell me there is no evidence linking any of the three to Sebastian's disappearance. When I say they have been vetted, it means investigators have checked, double-checked, and triple-checked their stories, and they have checked out. The parents have cooperated and have been interviewed multiple times together and apart looking for inconsistencies. Trust me when I tell you, if there was cause to make an arrest, authorities would do so in a heartbeat. So many of you on social media and on podcasts continue to voice your concerns, and I'm right there with you. I do check in with General Whitley, and he would be among the first to know if any charges will be filed. He cares deeply about this case and meets regularly with investigators for updates. He tells me there is simply no proof right now to support charging anyone with a crime. And if you don't charge someone lightly and without good evidence, you do that and they are found not guilty at trial and it's over. Then if new evidence surfaces implicating that same person, you cannot charge them again. That is known as double jeopardy. All that being said, no one has been officially cleared. Okay. So let's go back. Okay. So that's kind of the meat of that post, right?
Where do you want to go back?
And I think
first?
emotionally, when you read that, he's basically like, you're feeling, at least the feeling that I got from it is just that, hey, leave these people alone. They've been vetted. They're cleared. They're not the target of anything. You guys need to move along and stop your conspiracy theories and all that, right? That's the tone of the message that he's trying to send. But when you actually break down what he's saying, the thing I keep thinking about is how, like I mentioned in every episode, that Deception Detective has had a huge impact on the way I read and look at things. And people do not like to lie is one of the big takeaways you get. People will avoid lying at almost all costs, even if they feel like they need to kind of lead you away. Like this, people will lies of omission, or they'll say something kind of out of context, or so they'll say a truth, but they'll know you misunderstand, but not correct you. You know, like Chris has done that several times, like with his polygraph. Like he led you to believe that he had taken a polygraph, and when he finally got nailed down on it, he said no, he hadn't, and he almost acted like it was your fault for not understanding the truth. You know, that's how a lot of people lie. Okay, so if you kind of break this all down, let's start. He goes,
where would you like me to go?
Okay, I'm trying to see where I want to go. All I can say is that to date, authorities tell me there is no evidence linking any of the three to Sebastian's disappearance. Okay. When I say they have been vetted, it means investigators have checked, double-checked, and triple-checked their stories, and they have checked out. Well, I believe that is probably true.
Yeah.
I believe that what he's saying, he probably believes and is true, that Katie was at the house, that Chris was in Memphis, and that Seth was in the jail. And I'm sure they did vet that. And I do not doubt that story, if that's the stories they told the police, would be true. And so in a sense, but that doesn't mean, that would not mean that they do not have guilty knowledge or involvement in something else that happened during those times, right? The parents have cooperated and have been interviewed multiple times together and apart, looking for inconsistencies. Okay, cooperating, they don't really have a choice. They can say they're not cooperating, and then they can get warrants and search their house and bring them in and do all those things. Of course, they're going to cooperate. They have no choice but to cooperate, or they put big red flags out there that they're a problem, right? So they're going to cooperate because they know they're not really going to have a choice anyway. And then they've been interviewed multiple times together and apart, looking for inconsistencies. Well, that doesn't say that they did not find inconsistencies. It just says they're looking for them, right? And they've been interviewed multiple times. Doesn't say what the conclusions of that are. So that sentence is also probably true. And now this is a troubling. Trust me when I tell you. You hear that phrase anywhere in life. Trust me.
Where's that?
Trust me when I tell you.
Where's it?
Okay.
Right there.
I don't like seeing those phrases because then I feel like somebody's trying to deceive me. Maybe not
trust
here.
me when I tell you.
Okay.
Okay, I see it.
But
That's the same thing as when people say honestly or to tell the truth.
I'll tell you,
Right.
I've picked it up though because I've watched so many people on YouTube lately. I've picked it up. I picked up the honestly thing, and I'm like, that I know you don't do that because you should always be speaking honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let me be honest with you for a minute. Like everything else you said prior was not, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing with this. Trust me.
So, but I think actually this is a true statement. I just think he's aware that he's spinning things. I think that's what's going on. Trust me when I tell you, if there was cause to make an arrest, authorities would do so in a heartbeat. Well, that is true. I think if they believed they could make the arrest and had enough, they would do that. So many of you on social media, on podcasts, continue to voice your concerns, and I'm right there with you. I would disagree with that. I do check in with General Whitley, and he would be among the first to know if any charges will be filed. That would also be true because that would be crazy if he weren't, since he's the DA, right? I mean, so that's almost a non.
Although, where's grammar police? Because wouldn't it be amongst?
Well, yeah.
Would it be?
Yeah, I know, but okay.
I'm just asking.
It's social media now. So.
I'm kidding.
I think,
but grammar police is usually in our chat.
Yes,
oh yeah,
is.
Grammar police is not here. So that statement is just a non-statement. Of course he would know. I mean, the DA would know. He cares deeply about this case and meets regularly with investigators for updates. I am sure that is true as well. He tells me there is simply no proof right now to support charging anyone with a crime. I believe that is true as well. That does not mean that there's not evidence. That does not mean that there's not a working theory. There's just not enough proof. People use proof. What they usually mean by that word is we can put them away. We got enough. And I think we all believe, if we're all being honest with ourselves, I know many of us think we have a pretty good idea of what happened. But the truth is with what we know now, like I've thought, like, what if we knew, okay, everything, we were on a jury, everything that we know right now. And let's say you're on the jury and there's proof that that we know who those flashlight people were. We know who those two people were. We know that we know the person that got in their car and drove away, and we can tag them and see them drive out into the woods somewhere. Okay, we know who they are through GPS tracking or whatever, but we don't have a body. And we have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but we don't. If we don't have a body, if I'm on that jury, I'll be honest with you, I would have a very hard time convicting someone of that.
So are you saying you're not always honest with us?
I did that. I did that. Right.
That's hysterical.
Everything prior to what I just said was all this. Yeah. So I just I wouldn't be able to say guilty without a body, because there would be that lingering, because I would take that very seriously, putting somebody away for life or death penalty or whatever it would be. And I would need a body. I would need a confession. I would need video.
Hard evidence.
Harder evidence than just GPS tracking and a good theory. So I think I think that's what they mean by proof. They're going to need something a little more solid, some DNA evidence, some video, a witness to come forward, better police work, whatever it is,
Everybody really enjoyed Auntie getting you.
Yeah, she did. She got me good there. That was good.
Well,
Yeah,
and
so
that
yeah,
next
maybe
sentence,
Deception Detective will do me on his next episode, and I'll
well,
Oh,
I
a
think
dream
that
come
next
true
dream
for
come
you.
true. I'll be the target of one of his breakdowns. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, the next sentence too is pretty much reiterating what you just said. He says, "And you don't charge someone lightly and without good evidence," and that's what you're just
Yes.
saying. There's just not enough evidence right now that we are aware of that would
Right.
point to anything.
And this is where it gets really interesting to me. Okay,
Do you want me to go get your deception deck?
I know. Oh, well, we can
We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay.
So, and you don't. So I'm just going to read this, okay? And you don't charge someone lightly and without good evidence. You do that, and they are found not guilty at trial, and it's over. Then, if new evidence surfaces implicating that same person, you cannot charge them again. That is known as double jeopardy. So, why did he write this? Is what I want to know. I feel like he had this conversation.
I think
He's had that. I think so too. He's had that conversation with law enforcement or the.
Well, another
Attorney General.
source. We've got another source that said something very similar to
And
that.
this is, and I was going to ask if you were okay doing this, because this,
I don't
in
want
a
to
way,
say who the source is.
No, we're not going to say who the source was, but we had a source say something very similar
months ago,
a while back, about this type of language.
It was almost that exact wording.
almost identical.
It was almost identical to this, and so we kind of held back on that, going, okay, you know, and so that makes us feel like this conversation's happening. So I know there's people that think this whole deal's corrupt. I've had my moments with it, but I think they are building a case. I think they just need that body. They need a little better police work. So if he's not found,
we don't know. We do not know.
Well, my theory is that he's not. I hope he is alive, but I at 6 months out, I find it hard to think that that's the case.
And Ginger Girl, I didn't see the DA say that, but my mind is flooded with so much information about this case. I get confused on some things sometimes and have to go back. So if you know that the DA said that, if you could email me the link, I would love to read it or watch it or whatever.
But see, this is contrary to the impression they're trying to give. The impression the police is trying to give us is that they've got nothing, that it's just, oh man, we are just stumped. We just are spinning our wheels here. There's nothing coming in, no good tips. And I don't believe that that's the case. I believe this is the case. I believe they've got a lot, but not enough. And I think they've got a pretty good idea what happened, but not enough to, look at how much we all know. And we're just people sitting around on the internet.
And it's like I said, there's some pieces to the puzzle that they can access and they can easily get that they've not even spoke about with the phones. I mean,
go ahead and go into that a little bit, because I was going to run and get his deception deck anyway.
Okay, well, I have been really big into the Murdaugh case. I know,
which may be happening again.
Right. As you know, it's in the news again. Just yesterday, that he may be able to have it thrown out and retried based on jury tampering. So in that case, I really got caught up in all of the testimony and the evidence that they did to build the case of his guilt. And one of the things that they were able to tell that was just so amazing to me is they could tell every time his phone would ping from that cell tower, and if he had that phone with him, they could tell how many steps that he took from this point to this point, and how many steps he took from, say, 901 to 902. He took 283 steps, but regularly he might only take 20 steps a minute. And all of a sudden at 902, at the time they think that these people were shot, his son and wife were shot, he has 238 steps, but they show the steps and how they were able to piece together every moment that he had his phone, where it was pinging from, and his timeline and what he said didn't match up. And so you could put his timeline and testimony, and then you could show the cell phone pings and steps, and even the victim's cell phone steps and how many they took and when they stopped walking, and also when their screen went to lock and they never picked it back up again, the text in between before they were shot. So there's so much evidence that can be gained from those cell phones, and they've not talked anything about that other than that they have looked at the technology. Well, the technology can have so much more credible information than just, yes, they were on the phone, we can verify they talked for 3 hours. Well, they can tell if he put the phone down and it wasn't picked up and he didn't walk. They can tell if he laid it down and it was still for that whole entire 3 hours and didn't move, which would be highly unusual. They can look at a lot of things. They can see if she had like 1,000 steps in that time, or 2,000 or 3,000, which would indicate something's going on in her house and she's not sitting on the couch just talking to him, as she stated. So there's a lot of information that they can get and data that they can get from those phones that we don't know anything about yet. So I thought that was something, in watching that Murdaugh case, it just had red flags going off like crazy in my brain about this case. And, there's a lot they can get from those cell phones that we don't know, the particulars on yet.
He I can't remember which interview it was, but there was one where they asked him about, if he had moved his phone, like because they talked about that to him in one of the interviews, and he told them that law enforcement had told him he couldn't talk about it, which I can't imagine why law enforcement would tell someone to not tell the public if you had moved your phone during your conversation or not. Why would you do? What possible reason? So that was one of his. He always kind of uses law enforcement as a escape hatch. It seems like.
And then someone else just said, was she wearing like a Fitbit? Did they have like an iWatch or something that would show movement as well? It might show that she was like from 9 to 11. It showed her just basically still, but at 11 o'clock, she had 3,000 steps from 11 to 12. And so, something's going on, something vigorous activity. And does it dispute what they have gone on social media and said, or does it dispute what the stories that they've shared with law enforcement, when they were questioned? So there's a lot that can be contrived from technology that we haven't even really thought about.
Yeah. And that Murdaugh, I mean, that was a crazy one. So that makes me wonder how much whoever did this to Sebastian is aware of just how much monitoring we get. I mean, I think we all kind of know our phones do certain things, but the degree to which they can, I mean, even like the movement of it,
right?
That kind of
blew
stuff.
My mind. It blew my
whether
mind.
it clicks off or on, and they can tell so much. And just even with our cars, if they've got the Bluetooth, did they know to disable that kind of thing, and how? And
well, it can even tell that if he did lay his phone down and the lock screen came on, it can tell how long it was until he unlocked the lock screen again. Just those kinds of things. It can tell if he picked it up and he went 20 steps and that's how far it was to go to the bathroom. You could say, well, he probably went to the bathroom, or he probably went to the kitchen. You could literally estimate. But if it was laid down and just open for 3 hours and there was no movement whatsoever, that's really strange.
For sure. So anyway, that's kind of it for the Nick Baris part of it. I just thought it was interesting, just because it was just one of those things where when I read it the first time, I kind of had an emotional reaction to it. And then when I went back and looked at it again, I was like, man, you know what? He's not actually saying anything that's contradicting what I kind of think anyway. And it's just the tone of it. It's like, it's so, all three of the posts actually were just, they were so combative or something. And maybe he's just getting peppered with tons of emails and tired of it. I don't know.
I missed it, but did you explain that this is the part where you feel like it's a little bit of gaslighting? Did you talk about that at all?
No, I didn't. But and that is the kind of thing that frustrates you, because they know, we know, right? Like the public, we know what's going on. We get it. We understand where they're looking. We understand that there's the percentages, the odds. We've seen all the contradictory statements, and it's almost like these people come out and they want to tell you, no, there's no evidence of anything here. We don't know anything. There's no reason to look at any of these people. because they have a strategy that they want to lure them into a false sense of security and all that, which is a police strategy. But it's not going to work. The cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows where everybody's looking. There's too much information out there. And so when they come and do this kind of stuff, it's like you're being gaslit. Like they're angry that we're not buying it. We're not buying it. We know too much. We've learned too much about all of this. We know it's an investigation. We know it's a criminal investigation. And there's a lot of reasons we know that, because the DA is checking in every day. We know this because the DA was there on day 3. We know this because they were at the biggest one was that they were at the trash site, at the dump, looking for what in Kentucky. If they weren't looking for a runaway.
Well, and that's what is so strange is at the beginning they told us everything that this has happened, and they were searching the garbage and all that. I mean, it was like we knew everything there at the first few days, and then all of a sudden it was like a brick wall was thrown up, and it's like Garrett said, why no updates from LE? I mean, it literally stopped.
And I think what they want is for us to all just kind of sit back and believe it, and believe that, well, this thing's just at a dead end. I guess there's nothing happening. But we don't believe that, and that it's because a legitimate police strategy is to try to lure the person you're trying to catch into a false sense of safety. And there's one case that I think about that I heard on Crime Junkies a year or two ago, where the way they got the guy was they were doing a search, and this had been like years. And the guy knew that his phone was probably being watched, his computers and all that stuff. So he heard about a search that was going on in a certain area. So he went to the public library, got on their computer, and looked at a map to see how close his site was to the place they were searching. And so police had been tailing him. He didn't know it. So they go into the library, they pull it all up, and then they see the map he had looked at, and that's how they found the body and got the conviction, right? Because they had kind of lured him into a safe enough spot to make him think that he wasn't being monitored every minute, but he was. So that's a legitimate kind of strategy, but this stuff's not going to work. The whole planet's onto them. It's a global story. Everybody's watching them, and they're trying to go to court because there's so many people taking pictures of them and following them around. That strategy is not going to work here. They're going to have to come up with if that's what they're relying on, they're going to have to come up with a different technique. And there are other techniques. I was listening to Witness Box, and I highly recommend. The show's great anyway. I'm a big fan of McDonough anyway. All 3 guys are actually great, but McDonough was on fire on this part too. So it's episode 14 of the Witness Box, and I agree with absolutely every single word he said in that episode. And what he was getting at was you need what he was saying that needs to happen if they're stumped. And I'm not sure they're stumped. I'm not certain that there's not like handcuffs coming in 2 weeks. That could very well be the case. But if they are actually stumped and they need more, then he's basically like, it's time to do some police work. And the thing you hear in like every case is that there's some stuff they're holding back, right? There's like a shirt or a glove or whatever. There's these different things. There's a certain camera angle that a person that they know is there, whatever, that they hold these things back. And he's like, well, why? There's a point you reach where it's just time to start using those things. It's time to start putting the squeeze on people and making them nervous and start doing police work, which is to manipulate and pressure people. It's time. And if they are stumped, it's time for that. I think they could do things. They could release some incriminating video of someone, and make them sweat and see what happens. Or they could. One thing McDonough had said is, let's say they've got a suspect. Come out and name him as a person of interest and see what happens. It doesn't mean you're saying they're guilty. It doesn't mean they're saying a suspect. You're saying, hey, this is a person of interest. If you know anything about this person and their whereabouts on February 26th, if you've seen them in these areas, we'd appreciate you coming in and talk to us. Instead of saying we're looking at everybody. They could do something. They could do things like that. so that that person of interest is like, whoa, why am I a person of interest? Why don't you come down to the station and let's have a conversation, and then see where things go. See what else you got to manufacture it at this point. If you're just sitting around waiting for it to be handed, it's not going to happen. The other thing that police are saying, or McDonough was saying that police could be doing, is instead of being in this kind of combative mode with the media, use us. We're here. We've got 200 people in here right now that would love to help in any way they can. You've got some information. Police got some information you want out there. Use social media. Get it out there. Cases have been solved that way. Drop a little bit. Give us a nugget. Let us run with it and see what happens. Because sometimes that thing they're holding back is the piece that if somebody in the public saw it, might trigger something in their brain where they go, oh, this cap, I saw this cap on a guy. Oh, this pair of gloves. Yeah, I sold that guy those gloves, or whatever it is, whatever they're holding back. It's like a football coach having a trick play, losing the game and never using the trick play. It's like these tools don't do you any good if you don't eventually use them. Now, that's all to say if they are stumped. And I don't know if that's where they are. If this is getting cold, then it's time to start using the stuff they're holding back here soon. And if it's not cold, then hopefully something's going on here in the next month or two. Boy, I felt ranty there. I kind of went off.
Okay. I've got a couple of things.
But I hope a lot of it makes sense.
We can go ahead because that's what you're talking about. And then I've got something else to talk with you.
Udi, the concerning part is corruption of small towns. If they are not communicating with the public, so one cannot assume they are really looking. Most high profile cases have briefings. Yeah, I think that they are. I know this may not even be a popular opinion. My opinion is that this is not a corruption problem. That's not what I think has happened.
Careful.
I don't think that's what it is. That's just not what I'm hearing and what I think. Just my own observations. I could be totally wrong. But I do think their public relations has been terrible.
Now, Rosebud really wanted us to see this. So,
sure.
Lady T, tip for tat.
In the missing woman in Amherst, a new sheriff was appointed and the family filed a new missing person report with the new sheriff, and new evidence was investigated and the woman's unalive was determined.
So I think what Rosebud is suggesting, since we do have a new sheriff, well, currently Sheriff Craddock is the interim sheriff because our sheriff passed away. He's the interim sheriff, and I believe on the 26th, there's going to be what type of meeting? I know I can't. It's escaping me. You guys.
The voices.
No.
Is it a constable?
It's a councilman. It's a
councilman.
It's a councilman. Okay. When it gets this late at night, I get kind of like I start getting. You can see it in my eyes.
It's 8:30.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
It's school time.
I know. But the councilmen are going to vote on who our sheriff's going to be. Currently, no one's running against him. So it looks like that's what's going to happen. Let's see. But what Rosebud is saying is that since there's a new sheriff, that Seth could come in and file a new missing persons report. I think we'd have to look into that to see if that would work. Right?
I would say that if a missing person report is filed with the department, regardless of who the sheriff is, that it would still be filed. But you never know what procedural wise, what it could possibly do if he did. So it surely doesn't hurt to go in. And I thought at one point, Seth and his spokesperson were talking about that they were in communication with them. But I don't know at this point, because it's kind of been quiet for a while, whether or not that's still the case. But especially with the change in administration.
Okay. And then the one other thing that everyone keeps saying is that quote about a new detective every day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seen that.
So Mrs. E and I read this differently.
Yes, we did.
When I heard that, I thought it just meant that there's one detective, a minimum of one detective assigned to the case any given day.
Right.
But Mrs. E, you took that to mean that it might be different detectives, assigned to it each day.
I thought it meant that there will be one detective assigned to the case daily, so that the case is not being left on the desk anywhere, that there will be someone in charge of that case every day, whether it's the same person or different people. That's kind of the way I read it, but I don't know.
I don't know about that as a strategy though, unless it's a couple of detectives that are really familiar with it. Seems like you'd kind of want some consistency, unless they're really all plugged in on who's done what. Like if you had, I mean, maybe I'm sure it's pretty organized when you do that kind of thing. I mean, but you wouldn't want somebody backtracking and doing the same work you just did or going a different direction. I don't know. That seems strange if you'd have like 5 or 6 different rotating detectives on one
I
case.
know.
I've never heard of that, but I just took it to mean that we've got every day we have a detective dedicated to it, but I don't know.
Well, I thought 2 different things. So if it was a new person every day, then you're getting new eyes on it every day. But then that doesn't make sense. So because if you're starting from scratch every day, that doesn't help either.
No.
So
Well, did they say they would have a minimum of one person on it every day?
He said one. That's how it was said, right?
I wondered if that's what they meant, that there's always at least one person working on it daily. Maybe that's what he meant. But until they clarify, because they don't come out and make an official statement.
Well, that was a news report, right? Isn't
that was on the news?
Yeah, that was a news report.
It was on the news.
So that maybe that's just how they
I can
phrased
find
it.
if we want to hear it.
Let's see that.
It was on 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Opinionated had a good question. She said, or he or she said, I'm trying to remember when they went silent. Was it after the car lights and the flashlight video came out, or when that audio came out, and whether it was real or not? It was pretty much, I felt like Nick went to the public with the flashlight video before it was really even in the hands of the police. Isn't that the impression you got? Or that they were asked to release that maybe he was asked by the police to release it? I don't know.
That's how that was. I don't know if you and Mrs. E talked about that or not, but that was kind of her theory.
Well, I zoned out. What?
That the flashlight video might have, because Nick Baris was the one that released the initial one, that might have been leaked to him by the police to put out in the public.
And that may have been the reason that they went silent right after that.
Well, I mean, we've heard of tactics like this before in other cases where they will use someone in the media.
The last time I can remember Chris talking was when he did that fake Texas thing.
That was the worst.
Isn't that the last time he spoke? And that would have been after.
Well, if you read,
that would have been around the time she was announcing doing the thing at the sheriff's department, right?
No, that's when she was in town.
Oh, right. She was coming to town or in town. So it probably would have been around late June, I guess. Would have been the last time he spoke, but Katie's earlier than that, I think, because I remember thinking that they started getting really quiet when that video leaked of him cursing out that PI.
Right.
That's when they stopped kind of like regularly doing those late night, YouTube videos and stuff, streams. That around that time, because that's when they really started backing off, I thought, and I didn't know if it was related to that or not.
And I don't know. Someone said they believed that the audio was real. We really don't know, because that was leaked through wasn't it leaked through a YouTuber or something?
It was through a tarot reader, I believe.
But
we never really got a legitimate source from that, so we didn't treat it as a legitimate source.
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear what they were saying was there, so I couldn't make anything of it. I couldn't hear any words myself.
I could hear some words.
But
honestly,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It sounded like noise to me. I couldn't hear anything, so I'm not great about that stuff. You guys know I can't hear things like that, and I can't see things.
Yeah, true.
So
that is true.
Can't see ultrasounds. Can't see anything. So is Maui's son Maui girl?
No, I think it's a different person, because I asked that last time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's also get to the Betty Bullhorn Betty being in court too. We need to talk about that also, because we haven't been on since that was here. So like we were all kind of anticipating what that would be like. We had considered going down there and everything, and then we had funeral and all that going on. But as many of you, I'm sure, know at this point, that that Betty was not served, so she did not go. So that's been delayed for 2 weeks, and that the Proudfoots and all of them supposedly were there, but they were over at a sheriff's office. I think probably thinking they might get harassed or something like that, and weren't going to come over to the courthouse unless Betty did end up, attending. So basically, we've kind of got another week pause, I guess, at this point until the next. I don't know when that next hearing would be, but it's probably sometime next week, I would suspect. So unless she's been served in between now and then, I'm going to guess she's not going to show up again. So I don't know. I guess how long could that even go on? Could that just go on for months?
I think it can go on for up to 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, so
I think it's 1 year.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. I was wrong on my guess. I guessed she was going to show up because I just thought she would I just thought she would want to do it, So it looks like she's going to kind of go more like, I'm going to make you go, kind of have the legal battles, make them pay to get somebody to serve her and go through all the trouble and take time off work and all that. And, they're going to try to punish each other, I think, with the process as much as possible, it seems like. As far as what happened that day that we gathered from it, there have been multiple sources that have made reports about it. People putting their name on it on Facebook. Someone that was there kindly sent us kind of the synopsis of what had gone on as well afterward, and what they sent us lined up with everything else that we've seen out in the public. In that there was apparently someone from the sheriff's department there, kind of like in the place of, not in the place of, but standing there, where the Prophets would have been. I guess some of the folks did go over to the sheriff's office afterward and had some type of questions. Sounded like at times it might have gotten a little bit kind of loud, like a little, but I'm not sure. But Dick Craddock basically shut all that down and said he wasn't going to be taking any more questions on this case. And was there anything else that we got from that?
Someone did say she had court tomorrow. That is for a different case, in a different lawsuit that has nothing to do with this case. Yeah.
So she's got a few different legal things going on that way. I don't know. Actually, I don't know anything about that case tomorrow. I haven't, like we said, we generally, I normally wouldn't even talk about Bullhorn Betty in this kind of way at all, except that, the Proudfoots are there, and we're interested in anything kind of surrounding the Proudfoots. One of the things that was really tempting about going is I really kind of, I don't know if we're going to ever go or not. It's going to be kind of tempting one way or the other. There's a part of me that just wants to see what they're like, just kind of see how they handle themselves with because, when you're on YouTube or on a television show or whatever, who you really are doesn't always come across. The reality doesn't come across. And so I was kind of just curious to see how what their personalities were like when they're not just, of course, they're going to know that they're in a fishbowl if they're ever actually in that courtroom. So that I was kind of curious about that. So anyway, it looks like there's just kind of a pause button on what's going to happen with that. The other part of this one thing I've been encouraged to see from most of the YouTubers out there is that there's one thing that most of them seem to agree on, and even people that are enemies with Bullhorn Betty, she's got some feuds with some different folks, or whatever. But the thing they all seem to be in agreement about is that they hope that this is not a precedent, and that if charges are brought in some way or whatever, there's some kind of legal ramification. Even people that don't like her have all that I've seen been sharing the opinion that this should not be just about her having opinions that are unfavorable to the Proudfoots. It should be that there is some actual cause, right? I think that's what we were saying last time. I think most everybody understood where we were coming from on that, and I've seen quite a few others express that. So that's good. It's good to see that we're all kind of in agreement about that part of it for the most part. But I know that part of it is fear. I know that there are lots of YouTubers out there and people in this space that worry about these kind of lawsuits and things like this. I've seen a lot of folks. Can we do the
Sorry, we
The
have
thing.
a new member first.
Oh, we do.
Before we get started on that,
Sure.
Veronica Be True, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Veronica.
We appreciate you, and you know what you get. You get some special stuff. First, let's welcome. Welcome, Veronica. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Veronica. We do appreciate that.
It warms my heart. Makes me feel like we're doing something right. And then also just because I like to have fun, we will do some confetti bursts.
And K-Mac, as of right now, they're just going to basically appoint him as sheriff. In at this caucus thing that they're doing, he'll just be the sheriff. But they will, I'm assuming, continue with an election during election, won't they?
What do you?
K-Mac had asked about what. Can you speak about the caucus?
No, I don't think anybody's running against. Even in the election in 2026, I don't think anyone's running against him. Yeah, I think he's going to be going unopposed. Yeah, he's a, and that happens in this county actually a lot. It's a fairly strong Republican county, so it's not uncommon for candidates in various offices to run unopposed. Because there's a lot of Democrats that realize that they just don't have a chance. So usually it ends up being about half the seats in various positions. I would say you go in and there's like not a choice for various judges and different things like that. That's not uncommon to have unopposed elections here.
But they are, but they're doing.
We voted the other day, and most everybody was unopposed, right?
Yeah, we went to a primary, and it was.
But they're basically, aren't they appointing him first, and then he still has to do the election
in 2026?
This is just this on the 24th will be just to get him through the 26th year. But he's going to get it. I mean, there's not even a question in my mind. No. Sorry. But anyway, so that's our understanding of it. It's going to be a shoe-in. I think even the election in 2026 is a shoe-in. I had questions about that before, but if he's running unopposed, and he's already, especially if he's going to slide in as the interim between now and then, it would be hard to imagine somebody unseating him minus some like crazy scandal. That'd be the only kind of way I could imagine that happening. And like I said, if you look around the county, like on his, he has pretty strong support. I don't know him, but there's a lot of folks that have spoken very favorably of him. I know people here in this world are frustrated with him, but in the community, he is pretty well liked from everything I can see. I haven't seen any negative outside of people in the true crime, Sebastian Rogers corner of the internet, So let's, so what I wanted to get at was the,
sorry, I was looking at something else. Sorry.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind to pull that up for me, that'd be great.
The law?
Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of, if you're a YouTuber here or kind of catching this later.
You want this one or the Tennessee page?
Yeah, no, the Tennessee one I sent.
Oh, this is the one that Aunt E sent from 2023.
No,
it was the most updated.
Yeah,
it was the most updated one.
Nope.
Okay, well, give me just a second, please.
Sorry.
You all show them what you got for your birthday.
I will. That. So my birthday present this year was a surprise. I got the. Let's see if I can do this.
You got to put it in front of the camera.
Yeah, I got to put it in front of it. I got the deception deck from Deception Detective that he saw. So that was fun for me. I've had fun going through these. I've tried to figure out if there's a way we could do something fun with these on the show, like use the deck to look at different situations, but they are good. I mean, he talks about a lot of them on his show, but there were several of these that I had not heard before.
Read one of them.
Okay. So
just for fun.
Okay. So here's, if you ever hear someone say this phrase, I want to say, okay, this is what he has here. The phrase I want to say simply expresses a desire to state something. Liars sometimes use it to preface lies, as as it is technically true. Okay. In 2022, esports gamer Nadia faced accusations of cheating. In her defense, she stated, "I want to say that I never cheated and I never will." By prefacing her denial with, "I want to say," Nadia expressed her desire to make a statement. However, this does not necessarily verify the truthfulness of the denial itself. A more direct and reliable denial would have been simply, "I never cheated." Yeah, so it's kind of like, a lot of those deception things that he talks about is when you have these big prefaces to stuff. That's why we all got hung up on crystal clear. Like when he's done those statements before, where, "Hey, I'm just going to be crystal clear with all kinds of transparency." When you got to do a big build up to something to say, then that's a red flag that there's a problem there. And he does that one a lot. But yeah, so that was fun. That's been fun for me to look through. I'm trying to figure out if there's like a way we could use this on the show or something. But I don't know. We'll set that to the side and do that at some point. But that's where we are with the kids and everybody. I'm getting all kinds of true crime stuff now. The
kids got him
Middley bought me a true crime game.
It's like a board game.
Like a board game.
You have to solve the mystery within an hour or something.
We're talking about this stuff too much when the kids. That's where the kids start to be.
We didn't tell them, did we? What we did for my birthday? We did 3 escape rooms in a row.
We did.
Oh wow!
That's how much we like to solve mysteries. I guess.
You didn't tell me how you liked what Middle E got you for your birthday. I knew about this. What he ordered you.
I opened it. Because it was on the front porch and I thought it was weird that we had a package I didn't order.
We were trying to be sneaky and
they weren't sneaky.
We could not intercept that gift fast enough.
You can't get anything past me.
I know.
But did you like it?
I do like it a lot. I thought about putting it in the kitchen. Should I get it and show everybody what he got me? I love it.
It's pretty cute.
Okay, you talk about what led up to it.
What led up to it?
Yeah, like why, what it's about.
So I don't want to give it away. Yeah, but if you've watched the show The Bear, it's about a Chicago kitchen and this guy that his brother has taken his own life and he gets the kitchen from his brother and he's like the best chef in the world and he tries to turn this thing around. But it's a great show. The second season in particular is just fantastic. But there was one particular episode that has been all of our favorites. After I saw it, I was like, this might be the best TV show I've ever seen. It was Forks, which was in that second season.
That was a good one.
Which was the one where, what's his name? Cousin goes to learn how to be a better service guy. And he's at this really high-end restaurant. And so, my son knew how much that show meant to her. So if you've seen the episode, you'll get this. But
wait, is it? Oh, it's backwards.
No, we can see it.
Does it look normal?
Yeah,
no, it looks normal.
It's normal.
Okay, so he got.
That's not what I pictured when he said he got that.
So that's the sign that's hanging in the kitchen during that episode, and it's got the double meaning. It's got the double meaning where
it made me cry.
It's in a kitchen, so it means you got to be fast, but it's also meaning you got to. Every second counts in life, and you got to take it in. So he got her that, and so tears were streaming on Mrs. E with that one.
Little Lee is trying to.
Good night. Are we going to bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, sweetie. We love you.
Love you too. Good night.
Good night. So anyway, so that was it was a good gift there. It's fun when the kids start coming up with their own ideas like that.
Back to the regularly scheduled program.
Sorry. Back to.
Back from intermission. If maybe that was ever a chance for everyone to go to the restroom and have their smoke breaks and everything else right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so do you have the?
Oh, I do. I was just waiting for you.
So one of the things that I think people are concerned about with the Proudfoot, the Katie thing with the restraining order is they are litigious people. If you look at their history, they're the kind of people that are not afraid to just go lose in court just to go take you to court, right?
Will you show me what area you want me to blow up? Because it's tiny.
Yeah, and the one that I sent is more on harassment. So that's probably, I mean, it specifically deals with harassment.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I guess I'm getting at here is just that, maybe that's just not going to work. Oh, that's good.
That's good.
So I know you hear this all the time about people worrying about like defaming them, like if you're talking about this case or these people, that you're going to get like sued, and you're going to have your YouTube channel shut down, all this kind of thing, because you've defamed or these people. So because what people are afraid is going to happen is that if Betty gets the restraining order, then they sue her for some kind of defamation. She loses, then they go after every journalist, YouTuber, person they don't like, whatever out there in the universe. But the defamation is really a fairly simple law. So this is Tennessee, and this is really the way most states interpret this. And libel, slander, or defamation, they kind of consider these all the same thing, just depending on whether it's written or verbal, right?
Feel bad for this guy that I'm shooting his picture up here, giant.
Well, he's a lawyer, I guess. It's an advertisement for him for free, right?
Maybe he'll sponsor him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't guess he'll mind too much. So anyway, this. So here it's under Tennessee law that defamation, whether written libel or oral slander, requires plaintiff to prove by a preponderance of the evidence the following prima facie elements. And we talked about the preponderance of evidence last time. We talked about Betty, actually, in that you've got to it doesn't have to be overwhelming, doesn't have to be beyond a shadow of a doubt, just a fairly large amount of evidence to prove, right? Okay, that the defendant. Oh, and I'm going to preface all this, of course, with I'm not a lawyer. None of us are lawyers. We're just reading the law as lay people, as we understand.
We don't even play one on TV.
Yes, we're just reading what this other lawyer has written.
You gave away one of your
careers.
Oh, I did that last time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've already ruled out lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Should have been. Defendant published a statement with knowledge that the statement is false. Okay. And that's a big key to a lot of these defamations. So if you're worried about like the YouTuber world, you're worried about, you can have opinions are completely protected free speech. You can absolutely believe what you want to believe about someone. You just can't say it if you know it's not true.
Right.
Okay. You can't go out there and maliciously, deliberately impugn someone when you know the opposite to be true. That would be defamation. Okay.
So you couldn't say, I have crazy purple hair.
Yeah. Like
right.
the one I always think of, because people win on this one a lot, actually, is when they'll call someone a felon and they're not. And they're not. And you call them that anyway, because it's a very specific category, and it can be very harmful to your reputation and career if it's not true. That those defamation suits get won. You hear about this sometimes, people winning those. So that's one of the ones I mentioned as an example a lot, because that's one you got to be careful about. You can't just throw that around as a smear.
What about where do you get as far as opinion? Because even Lur Lodge, he came up with some terminology to describe one of the people he was talking about today as a let's see.
No, you just watched it today. It didn't stream today.
Here's what a lot of people,
but it was he said that the person was a narcissistic sociopath.
Yeah.
So
that's his opinion. Yeah, he's completely entitled to that opinion. Sure, that would be protected.
Did he say, in my opinion, though?
He doesn't have to.
Okay.
He just can't know the opposite is true as fact. Right? Okay. That's a judgment. That's like calling somebody a dirtbag or a loser or a creep or any of those things. You're totally entitled to opinions like that about people. So then the other part of it is,
I'll make it.
It has to be defaming. It has to be defaming to the plaintiff. So it has to actually also have an impact. It couldn't be that you made like a purple hair you mentioned as an example. Well, that wouldn't actually hurt her reputation. If I said, oh yes, Mrs. E has purple hair and it's not true, and I know it's not true, well, I haven't defamed her. It hasn't actually hurt her reputation because nobody would care, right? It has to be something that would actually hurt your reputation.
Like if you went and said that she was a murderer, would that be defaming?
Unaliver.
Okay, an unaliver.
We just got demonetized.
Actually, I think you can, unless you know the opposite's true. I think you can have that opinion.
I don't know. I think that's a.
I don't see how that's any different than a felon.
Felon is a
category.
You would have had to have been convicted of a felony.
I guess that
Norm Macdonald used to always call OJ a murderer in public, frequently, over and over and over again. He's entitled to that opinion. He can have that opinion. He just couldn't say he couldn't say something he knew was not true. You know what I'm saying? But if he
was found
if he
in a
called
court of-
OJ a felon, he hadn't unless he said another. I don't know if he'd ever, at that point in history, I don't think OJ had any felonies. Maybe if he, I don't know either way.
Well, and even after the trial, he was not found guilty.
Right, but he had other crimes later in life, I guess is what I was thinking about. But yes, he did lose some civil suits and things later.
Right.
But anyway, but a felony, you have to be convicted of a felony, and it's easy to look up whether or not somebody has had one or not. It's a very specific category. So when you call someone that, it's easily provable one way or the other if you are or are not. Does that make sense?
It's murky.
I don't know that it's murky. I don't know that that's murky. It doesn't mean you can't be sued.
Well, I guess
but
Tammy said if you call somebody an SA and they are not, that is defaming. And that, I guess you could say that. It would be like a felon, right?
I don't know that you can't do that. I'm not sure if you believe it. If you believe somebody's done something.
But
I don't know if I agree with that. Sorry. I usually agree with you on most things. I'm not sure. That's something we need to research further on that.
Oh, well, I'm just going by the law.
Okay.
So this is what
According to what the law
this
says.
is what the law says. So like,
but if calling someone an unaliver or an SAer though could affect them punitively.
It could. Especially if it's not true and someone is saying that about them, that is defaming them.
But you have to have knowledge that it's not true, right?
You would have to. I think you have to have. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this.
He kind of talks. Did you see that?
Yeah. So let me just get through this, because we're getting caught up on some examples, but they kind of get explained later on in this too.
Okay.
So the part C is with reckless disregard for the truth of the statement. Okay. So this kind of explains what that part too.
Okay.
So like if it's with reckless disregard of the truth of the statement or negligence in failing to ascertain the truth of a statement. So you'd have to be able. I'm trying to think of examples without giving specific people. That's kind of hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to target somebody. So it's hard to give examples that I've seen out there in the world without myself actually piling on somebody, and I don't want to do that.
Is it with reckless disregard? Would that be somebody knowingly twisting the truth? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, like the truth is the truth might be accessible, easily accessible. You've got a pretty good idea it's not even true. You've done it out of a spite. You don't even believe it. Those kinds of things. Like what you're saying. It's hard to win. I'm just saying those are going to be harder. Those are harder to win. You can lose any case.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is the way they write it. That the courts would have to feel like you were directly trying to impugn someone and hurt them without any regard for truth on your side. But if you could back up your opinion and how you got there, then it wouldn't be defamation because you believed it.
Gotcha.
Okay. That does make sense. Yeah.
That makes more sense because you believed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good example.
Like,
whoops, I hit the wrong one. And your buddy's here.
Oh, hello to Tennessee. Oh yes. So the
football
Amber
season,
Heard Johnny Depp case. That yes. I didn't follow that one as well. Did you all follow that one?
Oh,
but I know she lost that, and Deception Detective did a lot of stuff on her.
Maliciously
But
doing it
yeah.
out of, Tammy says maliciously doing it out of harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's.
It makes more sense when you said the second part about it. I get it a little bit better now. But what my question is the suit for defamation or is it harassment? Those are two
No.
different things.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the Bullhorn Betty thing. What I'm getting at is that the chilling effect that it could have on the media.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
What people are worried about is that this is the first step toward shutting down any criticism of them. That's what, if we're kind of guessing here, what the strategy is to first get the restraining order against her, and then from there try to kind of get her to stop talking, and then others, because they don't like the criticism. I mean, people have gone pretty hard on them, and I think they would love for this all to stop. And they're somewhat litigious. I mean, they've
even the Lur Lodge kind of covers
I mean, they're not afraid to go into a courtroom.
But he did say in that last one, he said that he wanted to be careful how he proceeded because of the situation.
Yeah, but see, people do things like that. Like, you know how you watch Dolly Vision?
Yes.
He does that big precursor to the beginning of the show sometimes where he says like, hey, everything here is not to be taken seriously. It's all rumor, he's got that whole thing he does.
Spiel. Yeah.
And most people that are in media have some kind of disclaimer or whatever and it's really just to discourage people from suing you. It does, that's really more what it's about than anything. So when he's just being careful so nobody just chooses a lawsuit, because nobody wants to get sued, even if you're going to win, because it's a hassle. But these people that they have a right to their opinions. Just coming out, what I'm getting at is just coming out and saying what you think happened, your theories, your opinions, that you don't like them, you don't trust them, you think they're liars, you think they have knowledge, all those kinds of things. You're totally entitled to those opinions. So the idea that they're going to sue and be successful, they wouldn't be if you put up any kind of decent fight at all. Might just get tossed out anyway. There are some other things too. So another defense against defamation is that if what you're saying is true, it's not defamation. So like,
where's that part at?
Like if you know a horrible thing about a person and you put it out in the public and it's true, then it's not defamation.
Right.
Either. Right. What was there was one other below that. No, I don't want to do. Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much, then there's all kinds of court cases and things that have, kind of clarified what all that means. But basically what they're saying in that, just at the top, is pretty straightforward, really. It's just that you put out a statement with knowledge that the statement is false and it's defaming to the plaintiff, with reckless disregard for the truth of the statement or negligence in failing to ascertain the truth of the statement. So like if it was easy to look up, you knew it was false, but you said it anyway, that's the kind of stuff that would get them in trouble. So anyway, people worried about the chilling effect and all that, but I think, and obviously I don't know everything that goes out there on the internet. There might be people that have been defaming them. I don't. We don't hear everything.
Semper's mom put something up. She said she used to be a paralegal, and she said if it's not true and was stated to a third person who heard it and understood it to be true, then you have a claim for slander. It is most likely a crime of moral turpitude.
Interesting.
If it's not true,
if it's not true,
stated to a third person who heard it and understood it to be true, then you have a claim for slander.
Interesting.
That is interesting. She said she's a retired paralegal, so she probably has some idea. And that's I like the way she wrote that. But I kind of get what she's saying. If you repeat it to a third person and that person thinks it's true, it could be slanderous, even if it was.
So, like if I said, "Oh, you don't want to buy shoes for Mary because Mary's feet stink," would that be You know what I mean?
So what Semper's mom's saying there is that that fits in where it says
me pull it back
and
up.
it was defaming. Like and defaming to the plaintiff.
She said it would be slander.
Well, the Tennessee considers defamation
Libel and
or
slander.
They consider like defamation in subcategories or libel and slander here. So it had to have worked, had to be effective, and then it would be, if you put out a false,
Aww.
caused actual harm, right?
Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches gave us a super sticker.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
But like I said, this is just my interpretation of what the law says. There could be, we're not lawyers, but I think, generally, another thing from my understanding is that the more high profile you are, the less protections you generally have and stuff like that. So like the president has like the least protection of this kind of thing than just about anybody in the country, because they have the biggest platform. The First Amendment is all about criticizing power. So you're going to have a very hard time having a president actually win a lawsuit for slander or libel, stuff like that, because they have such a voice that you almost can't truly slander them. Those are hard cases for a president to win. So like below that, then it becomes like, superstar actors or senators and all these people. And, even Chris and Katie have gone out and made themselves public figures by going on Nancy Grace and variety of YouTube shows and having these lengthy interviews and telling their stories. The public has a right to respond and not believe them or not, and poke holes in what they say and push back on whatever narratives they have, right? It's because they have a platform. It's not like they're being bullied by someone. They've had a voice. They've been out there.
Couple things. Excuse me. Dreaming of Blue Skies. You couldn't see it on yours.
Oh yeah, thank you.
But how cute is that super sticker with the coffee mug? We Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches won our.
She did.
Our trivia night.
There's 2 more out there somewhere, because we did 3 that day.
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody.
And then Mally Cat says, "Good job." Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet.
Thank you, Mally. Right.
I've still got I actually still have the stars on, so I'll give you stars and confetti. There, you can have stars and confetti. Sorry. Oh my gosh, these things.
So then we've got a couple of events coming up too to talk about. We've got the event with Seth.
Yes, I'm not ready for that.
Okay.
I did want to. Paper Man says, "Why are you bashing others?" I don't feel like
I think that was a response to someone in the chat.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, because I didn't feel like, I think we try really hard to stay diplomatic about this stuff.
Yeah, we try not to speak about especially other podcasters, or.
It's hard to do sometimes because they're kind of involved in some stories, so it's hard to not mention people by name. But we try not to get into all of that. There's plenty of people that do those things. We don't have to.
Okay, so let's see. We're trucking along tonight. Oh, trivia night, Veronica. We will do it probably closer to the end of the month, but we do a true crime trivia night for our members, and it's just kind of a time for us to sit around and have some fun. And we talk about heavy topics, and it's just nice for us to be able to chat about something. Have
a fun night.
And with the trivia, it's it's trivia all the way from fairly easy all the way up to kind of hard. So I think we had a good time. I don't know what our other members thought, but we had a great time. So we will be doing that again, which I've got to start coming up with questions. So what else what was I looking for? Oh,
I think the rally.
I'm sorry.
So let's.
Are you going to talk about the gathering of voices too, or is that last?
We can do them in either order.
Okay.
Whichever one you want to do
I have
first.
to download this.
So there are 2 events coming up really close together.
Hold on, I got to open this somehow.
Yeah. So there's August 24th. It's called a rescue ride, I think is what it's.
I don't have it up yet. You're going to have to wait.
Okay.
You can talk about it, but I'm not ready yet. You don't have to be silent.
Oh, I was just looking through the chat to see.
If you're missing anything, okay, I can stop sharing him. And I can, let's see.
Yeah, I guess this is what I was getting at. Having an opinion about someone might be a pedo and a liver, etc., is one thing, but it's easy to prove or disprove someone is a felon. Yeah, because it would just almost be like you're negligent because it's so easy to prove or not. So it's like, and sometimes I think people sometimes throw that word around kind of as just a slur when they don't know. But yeah, that's one you kind of do want to be careful with. So it's Sebastian's Rescue Ride. This is organized by Seth, August 24th at 2 p.m. And my understanding is that any profits they get from this will be going to Michaela's Mutt Motel because of Sebastian's love for animals. And so kind of an awareness of Sebastian vigil. Oh, okay, I didn't catch this part. So the vigil is after the ride. That'll be at 5 o'clock at the Fallen Brewery there in Clarksville. Looks like the ride starts at 2 p.m. So if you're up in the Clarksville area, I'd like to go by. I think they're throwing in a t-shirt and lunch.
You get a lot for $25.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, a t-shirt for $25 is pretty good.
Oh, and it's my understanding that there will be dogs there available for adoption, I think.
Okay.
Separately, but it's my understanding that there will be dogs there as well. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also my understanding that they chose this charity because of Sebastian's love of animals.
Yeah.
So, which I think is also nice.
Yeah.
And
anything you can do like this to continue get press, people see his face in town,
Yeah. Oh, and I am too Bear. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, Michaela, but it's not the same Michaela you're thinking of. So, yeah, so they're going to be doing that up in Clarksville. And it's my understanding also the Fallen Brewery, weren't we told that it is for fallen soldiers? That's kind of the...
Oh, I didn't make that connection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's kind of a thing for soldiers.
I see. That makes sense.
And that would make sense being in Clarksville.
Yeah. Right. Because it's 101st Airborne and all that up there. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that, if you're in town, that's great. I assume Seth will be there for that.
I believe, if you remember.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Seth and it's my understanding Seth, Tony, and some other people will be there.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
And then 2 days later, there is the Gathering of Voices. And so that'll be the 6-month anniversary of him going missing. So, it's terrible to think that this has been 6 months, of course. If there's any kind of bright side to that, sometimes the media is sort of interested in doing these stories around those anniversaries. Maybe they'll come, that'll be a positive out of that. They might come out and cover it. I know there's been some discussion back and forth about whether or not this was a protest, more like a vigil kind of event, an awareness event. I'm not quite sure because I've heard it different ways at different times. Did it start out as being a protest and then they changed it?
I think it's always been called a gathering of voices. And I think it is just to kind of peacefully, and when protest, I use that term loosely, but peacefully gather to tell the, to let the police know that there are people in the community want answers. I've heard a lot of different stuff and I don't know what's true. So it's hard for me to want to speak on all of it. Do you know what I mean?
I felt like I heard it called a protest early on, but maybe that was my interpretation of it.
I don't think it's been called a protest. I think
the real Me Too would know because I know she's
and maybe.
I think it's been called a gathering of voices. They're supposed to have like food and drink, like cake, and
right.
I think it was supposed to be just a peaceful. I don't want to say a protest, but I think it's just a peaceful gathering to encourage. I don't know if it's to encourage law enforcement to be more interactive or to clear certain people or to get information. I think just to encourage information possible.
Okay, so Real Me Too says Seth and Tony will.
Oh, she's talking about the rescue
the rally.
ride.
Yeah.
And she's coming 9.5
good.
hours to show her love and support. And she's
Awesome.
asking if we will be there. We are trying to make arrangements, but I cannot guarantee anything at this time. We have, we have children,
And our
one with special
possible.
needs. It is definitely possible, but it's one of those things where the stars have to align.
Okay, so people are saying that this was never a protest. That some people have called it that, and so maybe
okay.
that's the way I've heard it, and I just assume.
Oh,
I don't think of a protest as a negative thing, actually, either way. But
yeah,
I get why people.
Well, since 2020, people kind of
they might be imagining, like whatever. But I don't think that's obviously that is not the idea. That would be that's not the idea. They're going to just go out there and show, hey, we are still here for this kid. We want you to know the public still wants this solved. We want you keeping on it and all those kinds of things.
Okay, not to jump around, but Michaela, founder of Michaela's Motel, is a Navy veteran. So,
okay.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So even better. I think it's a good cause. It's a good cause, to keep Sebastian's name out there, and also, you're helping out somebody who takes in animals, and that's kind of amazing too.
I'm sure they're going to invite a news crew or two out there and try to get them to get some footage and get another story, and that's how you do it.
That's the point, right?
That's how you do it,
And then as far as Betty's thing, it says yes, it's peaceful to keep Sebastian's name out there,
right?
And the reason I said protests is because there, and I don't usually talk rumors, but I have a feeling this rumor is true, just because I've heard it in multiple locations. So it is my understanding that there's going to be a counter protest, which really, honestly, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
A protest for the gathering of
I think it's
really
people
weird,
protesting. Right? This is that's why we included it. And I think that's why we use the word protest. So basically protesting the protest, I think, or a counter protest. I've heard it a few different ways. Have you heard that? Anybody else?
Well, I heard it from the same place. You heard that, and
I
had heard
what
it
would they
somewhere
be
else.
Protesting? I don't get what a counter protest to protest the people that are peacefully gathering to keep Sebastian's name out there. Why would you counter protest that?
I think you've got these camps and things, and people are just, losing sight of what it's all about,
So that's what I'm wondering is that, so if they're peacefully protesting to keep Sebastian's name out there, does that mean that the counter protest is wanting
They don't want to keep
opposite?
his name out there?
That's my question.
Yeah.
I hope that they think better of that before that, because that's pretty bad.
And Cricket it says that that's not what the protest is about. It's about Seth. That's not my understanding.
Oh, the counter protest is about Seth?
No, I don't think so. I think she meant the protest was about the gathering of voices was about Seth.
I don't know.
Because the Real Me Too said we are trying to get Seth's name cleared so Chris McDonald can help.
Well, that is something that you might want to talk about.
I did hear. I would listen to the lab. This was something I had on my list to talk about.
And if you guys don't listen to the lab, you should. It's really good.
The Josh hosts the Witness Box and a couple of other things with McDonough, and he was talking about that. He was saying that that foundation, they don't need to have the parent cleared to come in. Was his understanding. Now maybe he's misunderstood that and doesn't know, but he's pretty close with McDonough, and he didn't believe that to be the case. But so I don't know. But if that's what I had heard that several times. I had mentioned that a few times on this show, but Josh seems to think differently. So I don't know if that's maybe he's just mistaken or doesn't know, or maybe Seth doesn't have to be cleared for them to get involved. I'm not sure. I could understand why you would have to be, like if you had if you have an organization, you've got a bylaw. I can understand why you would make it a requirement that a parent were cleared, because you would not want to have the organization get involved, and then a parent be implicated. So I get why that would be the case, but it may not be.
Well, I mean, I think
I'm not sure. Maybe
I
Ms.
don't know.
Josh misunderstood.
They're a charity, correct? We probably could look up their rule. It's probably filed somewhere where it would be their rules and regulations, because it has to be.
It probably is. That's just something I'd heard
Would
him
be
say,
public.
and I don't know if everybody picked up on that or not. But that was his belief, and maybe he heard wrong or misunderstood something. But that's what he thought.
Mhm.
So that maybe that avenue is open to him, whether he gets cleared either way.
Right. Yeah. Seth, Real Me Too says,
yeah, Seth will not be at the,
no, Seth has nothing to do with the gathering. Seth will not be there.
Right.
And the Real Me Too says Josh is mistaken. So I guess the only person that could clear that up would be, well, we could look at it. I think we can look that stuff up. I'll have to figure that out.
I understand why that makes sense to me, why you would want the parents to be cleared before they can step in. That totally makes sense. So I can see why that
Rogue has one. Rogue says he was going to work with the Wells family and they refused and they weren't clear.
Okay.
So maybe that's, okay.
Yeah.
But I do believe when you're I think they're a 501c3. So if they're a 501c3, they're, Auntie, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you have to put bylaws out with a 501c3? Aren't we talking about this the other day?
Yes.
So the bylaws should be on file somewhere. I mean, I don't want to have to go to the Library of Congress to find it, but
if they're a 501c3, yes, they will have to have some kind of bylaws.
Yeah, but it would have to be public bylaws, correct?
They have to be filed with wherever they filed with the government. If it's a federal 501c3 charity.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So there's a couple of events coming up if you'd like to attend either of those. Looks like the 24th, the 26th, those will be happening. Unless you're counter protesting, then probably don't go.
Well, I guess my point
that doesn't sound like a good idea to anybody. But I don't know.
Well, I don't understand what the point would be. No matter how much it doesn't matter. No one's asking you to like anybody on YouTube or anybody anywhere for that matter.
That's so tacky. It's crazy.
The thought of it, yes.
Now,
someone could have been trolling for all we know.
Yeah, maybe
passing this rumor around just to upset people. That happens too.
They might have been doing it to discourage people.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. That happens as well. But I don't know. Just no matter how much you dislike somebody, there's no reason when it's about Sebastian. There's no reason.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just how I feel.
We're hoping that doesn't happen, and that it's just supporting law enforcement, supporting Sebastian, and hopefully raising more awareness to the cause.
For sure.
Rogue, I really like your picture. I don't know if what you've done, like what kind of filter, but that's really cool.
Yes.
Yes, it is a silent protest. Exactly what for? Who knows? So many different things out there, but this is the first time that I have heard a counter protest.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand. I guess I can't wrap my head around.
Hopefully, it's just trolling.
And it didn't occur to me because I was telling you about it, and it didn't occur to me till this very moment that it could have just been fake, because there's a lot of that too.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, I can imagine a lot of people.
Well, the Real Me Too says that on the 24th it's at 2 p.m., but the poster says 3 p.m.
Oh wait, hold on.
Hang on.
It's when I know. I'll leave it alone and you do it.
Hang on, I gotta find it. Here it is. Okay.
Okay, so 2 p.m. is the vigil. Okay. The 24th starts at 2.
5.
And
vigil following at 5.
Yes.
Okay, but it says, I see it. Benefit ride 2 p.m. at Fallen Brewery. Kickstands up at 3. So they want a meeting at 2.
And then they ride at 3.
Where does that
ride at 3?
Where am I missing that? Oh, I see it. It's just
in the box.
In a different place. So I'm confused. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Cool. And then the food at the brewery at 5.
Mm-hmm.
For the vigil.
And you get a t-shirt, a bracelet, and a meal.
Is that what happened?
What?
Just Tennessee nurse talking about McDonough. Pulling it up here. McDonough did come and speak to the Wells. I watched the footage on his channel. He probably picked up on the guilt and backed out.
Interesting.
Oh, so he went out. So that video that where he shows the house and everything and walking around is real friendly with them. And he at that you're thinking at that point he wasn't suspicious. And then once he was out there, that makes a lot of sense. Because I saw that like years later. Because I wasn't following the Summer Wells case back then. That is interesting.
Also, Romy 2 says, from what they hear, it's not true. That the counter protest. So, it didn't occur to me.
From what we hear.
Oh, no, it's true from what we hear. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to take my headphones off and go to bed and let you guys wrap it up because I am just not getting things right tonight.
Yeah.
It happens to us.
Opinionated says, but BHB is bringing her bullhorn. I will say there is an ordinance against that. You're not allowed to have amplified voice. There is. We've seen them. We've seen them talk to people before when we were down there for the Christmas tree lighting.
But didn't they let them?
No.
Because everybody was so annoyed. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
We were down there for a Christmas lighting thing.
I thought they had him stop.
No, they didn't, because that's why it made me. I was thinking about this. It's funny you brought this up.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this with this because I think, there. Anyway, so right in that area, this square of downtown Gallatin, there's they do the Christmas tree lighting thing, and we were down there.
Our kids were singing.
Yeah,
with the choir.
It's like elementary school kids all around.
It's
singing,
adorable. If you live in the area, it's adorable.
They do the fake snow stuff and all that, and the kids are singing,
Christmas
songs.
It's precious, and they all got their little Santa hats on. It's precious.
And this guy comes up on the sidewalk with one of those like portable microphone things, and he's like a street preacher, and he's like talking about how satanic Christmas is with its ties to this and that, and he's like, I don't even want to say this. He's talking about various traditions.
Don't say that stuff. We've got children in the house.
Things you should not say around children, elementary school children at Christmas time. And I mean, people were really upset. Really upset. And they were going up to this guy and chewing him out one after another. Like one parent.
He had a line of people.
Like people waiting to take turns to tell this guy what he was. I mean, it was terrible.
Wow. It
was horrible, but it was right beside the tree and he was on the sidewalk. And so people kept going to the police and saying, is there anything we can do about this guy? They said, no, there really isn't. He's got a right to be on that sidewalk and doing what he's doing.
But I thought they told him he couldn't be amplified. That's what I'm saying. I thought they told him he could not have the amplification on.
But he did, though. Did he turn it down?
He did.
He did eventually turn it down? I don't
be required to be.
It went on a long time though, so the police were really slow about it. I'm thinking they didn't make him turn it down, but you're remembering it differently.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I know, but anyway, they acted like their hands were tied. So this was a couple of years ago, whatever, and so it made me think of this coming up. It's in the same area, right? Isn't that office? It's downtown Gallatin, I'm assuming.
It's on the same street as the library a block away.
Yeah. So the same area.
No, it's in the back side of the library. But
I mean, that whatever ordinance they'll have the right to be on the side. I was just wondering if they had a right to be on the sidewalk organizing, if the police would hassle them. If the street preacher can do what he was doing, then I'm going to guess that people having a gathering of voices for a missing kid should be okay. That's what I'm getting
Real
at.
Me Too says, yes, she is bringing it. And she asked Captain McCoy. I'm hoping that's not from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I think I think you're remembering this wrong.
Captain Kirk.
I think you remember this wrong because that guy did that microphone thing for a long time.
Here we go again. McCoy was the doctor.
Yeah, but he wasn't the captain.
I know. I was just trying to have some levity and you're just not letting me.
Ha ha.
All right, Fox and the Hound. All right.
Okay, Captain Kirk.
Okay.
So
let's see. Are we going to be a drama? Is that considered a drama channel? What just happened? That interaction?
It'll be a big thing. Big thing tomorrow. Yeah, so the only other thing I had, unless we want to talk about some of the Lur Lodge stuff, We could do
We've
that
got a
next
few more
time if we
minutes.
want. The only other thing I had kind of seen over the last week or so that I thought was interesting was the Jennifer, I'm going to get her name wrong, Coffin Daffer, I think.
No, that's good. You did good.
I practiced it a few times.
You didn't destroy it at all.
Coffin Daffer, I think she's an FBI, retired FBI. She's got a good show, and she had a lawyer on last week, and was talking about this whole case, and she was talking about all of it, like Seth with the YouTube channel and the Proudfoots taking people to court and all these different things, and basically his conclusion was just no, all of you should just stop talking. Just stop talking. All of you people, you're not, and like you're not helping by going to court. And we know this. Chris and Katie, they're not doing themselves any favor by taking people to court. It makes them look way worse because, you've got the 6-month anniversary coming up. They're going to court, and are they planning any vigils or anything? They got anything going on that we've heard of?
I'm just trying to understand what's going on in chat.
Oh, is there something?
Why are we bringing up names of other creators? Who are we bringing up? Chris or
well, if we're bashing other creators, I would appreciate we not do that.
We don't do that.
Yeah. No. We're kind of like, if we can't say something positive, we just rather not. Positive, neutral.
We're like Switzerland. We're neutral territory.
We can say neutral stuff, positive stuff, but we'd really rather not criticize other creators. That's just not the purpose of our channel. And so we appreciate if you guys didn't do that.
Well, another thing I was thinking of too, I forgot about it. Didn't Seth send out cease and desist? So we've had them all kind of doing some stuff with the creators, just wanting to do stuff. Didn't he send out cease and desist letters to some people?
He did. 5 or 6 people. I believe.
That's what I thought. I thought so. So we've had all kinds of legal stuff going on. And
those things don't help. That public perception wise, it doesn't help Seth either. It doesn't help.
Right. Right.
All of this.
Absolutely.
So like I was thinking a few days ago,
maybe we just didn't get that far into it, but that's correct.
What's that?
Just that none of this stuff helps.
Right. So I was thinking if you went back in time to the first week that Sebastian went missing, like Katie, because I think what he was getting, what the lawyer was getting at is everybody wants to get out there and like prove their innocence and tell their story and convince the public. And he's like, it's impossible. You can't do that. It doesn't work. Like if you took Katie before all this ever started, before you ever heard a word, do you think worse or better of her now than you did at the beginning before she said a word? And I think most of us would say, yeah, we definitely think worse of her once she started talking. And the same you could do for Chris. He has done himself no favors with all of his interviews. Everybody thinks far worse of him now. And even Seth, really, other than maybe that first interview he did on the side of the road where he was so emotional and upset, and everybody kind of felt for that. But since that point, really, he hasn't been doing himself any favors. So as counterintuitive as it is, and as I know YouTubers want them out there doing more interviews because they want the content and the interviews and the access and all these things. But really, as far as like your public persona and image goes, you can't, at this point, you're not winning people over anymore. It's baked in. I mean, look at like a Seth, right? Seth has he was in a jail for 13 hours when Sebastian goes missing with cameras all around. He's passed 2 polygraph tests, one of which was on Nancy Grace. She publicly announces he passes it, and people still think he's involved. And you're not going to win those people. You're not going to win those people over.
Sorry,
there's no amount of public interviews and answering questions that's going to make. He can still do things to like this, like do the rides and have vigils and do news stories maybe, but not like these things where he goes and does lives and answers questions and tons of interviews. Really don't help. People think it'll help, but it doesn't help. I can't, like, if you could think of a time where somebody's been in a situation like this and they've been able to go out on social media and improve their reputation or their suspicion, it's not, I don't think it happens. I don't even know if it's possible. People have made their decisions at this point, and all you can do is make it worse by saying something incorrectly, making a mistake. And really that goes for Chris and Katie too. And I think they've kind of figured it out. That's part of why they've probably gotten quiet as well. But anyway, that was a pretty good. It was a pretty good thing with that lawyer. I mean, it was like a 45-minute thing, but basically, if you put it all in a nutshell, it was just don't talk anymore. But of course, that's kind of what lawyers always say. Is there something going on?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's nothing. There was some, our chat is normally very calm, and
Okay.
there was just some stuff going on. So
Is it okay?
It's all taken care of.
Okay, good.
So.
Well, sorry about that. If I missed it, I think whatever was going. So hopefully that wasn't too bad. But I apologize if it was. Do you want to do? You look like you got something going on.
No, it's okay. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Auntie, do you want to talk about the Lur Lodge before we go?
Well, I think that it was really good. It was good like always. I thought he did a really good job kind of summarizing everything. And, he was a lot like, I almost think we should save it for the one where you're talking about just say it out loud.
Okay.
Because a lot of what he said were just facts that, if you say it out loud, it makes a lot of sense. And some things that when you say it out loud, make absolutely no sense. And I thought that might be, there were some good things that he brought up, that might be better used in that. But I'm happy to go over some of the things they talked about.
I mean, I think it could probably be done for both. Tit for tat said all good in the neutral hood, Mr. E.
Okay, good. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay.
You can just text me. You don't have to send money. You're so sweet, though.
That's great.
You're so sweet.
One of the things I thought
was really, I want to give her her stuff.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot.
Thank you. I'll give you some balloons too. We usually do balloons for birthdays, but nobody's mentioned it being their birthday. And then there's some confetti because we love you. Thank you, Tit for Tat.
Yes, thank you. And
you didn't do anything wrong. We were just trying to get some things worked out. We
just want everybody to be kind, and we're like Mr. E said, we don't want to bash other creators, and we don't want
to bash each other either. We don't want to be. We don't take kindly to meanness in our chat.
Well, I mean, I think most of you all understand why we don't want to do the creator stuff, because it's an endless spiral of, you just can't. We start that stuff, and it never ends. It never ends, and we're just not.
It's not.
You just can't, and
we are,
And so we're just trying to avoid ever getting into that part of it.
Mystic Firefly gets in trouble a lot, I think, but we don't.
Nope.
We know it wasn't you.
Mystic Firefly's been good.
No, Mystic Firefly's great. I'm just kidding.
I recognize the name. I don't remember.
I kept saying Mystic Butterfly. That was the part of the. I don't.
You've always done that.
I don't know. Ginger Girl has a good point. In my opinion, Lur Lodge underestimated KP's intelligence and strength.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, I don't remember how much of this we've talked about. Did we talk about his theory that Sebastian is alive out there?
I think it's
mentioned that.
It's a hopeful theory.
Yeah.
I wonder if his theory doesn't also have a lot to do with just his closeness to the case as far as his brother, and he's hoping that he's alive, because
he is very young.
He is young.
Yes.
So
I think that's where it comes from, though. I don't, he mentioned that again, he thinks he was kidnapped. And
yeah.
I think that's what he even called this last episode, was the kidnapping of Sebastian Rogers.
I think that's what he thinks. I don't think he's, I think he believes that. I think what Ginger Girl's getting at here is what he thinks partly is that she wouldn't have been capable of that.
Right. That's exactly what he thinks.
Because,
he thinks that she would not have allowed any influence into unaliving him, and that she would never have chosen that. And I think that's what she's, getting at. She underestimates her intelligence and strength.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
Yeah, Lisa says the last episode of the Lur Lodge was really good. It was. And are you referring to the call, or not call in, the discussion, the live discussion, or the last
part 3
video?
Because the one that was like from 2 days ago was the one I watched last.
That was like a live where they took
Mhm.
they took questions and stuff, and it was interesting for sure. But then they also had their finale was, I mean, it's good, man. He knocked it out of the park as far as the research, and then of course they had the bombshell of Chris having those parenting classes and
Yes.
the conflict management. Which,
Yeah, that was something I put on there. You know, he said if you talk about what you do know, that was one of the things that you do know that he absolutely had to. I'm looking at it was some could be premeditated. However, he probably thought it would blow over in a couple weeks, and then he said he could also know and had documentation that he was court ordered to take anger management and parenting classes 36 hours, and he fought having to do that in court. He went to court to fight the order for him to take the 36 hours of parenting and anger management.
Yeah, right. He fought it. Yeah, that was and man, but he did. I guess his court records, they don't say exactly why he had to do it, right?
It had something to do with, it was in New Mexico. It was in it was with the Nina stuff.
So it must have been something with the 3 kids.
Yes, that's where he found it, was in the New Mexico court records.
So something not even related to Sebastian, but just shows more of his pattern.
Right. And that was something he said, it shows, you know.
Yeah.
He said that he believed Chris was a narcissistic sociopath, and everything he does leads to him thinking that he's trying to get away with something and that he won't be caught. Just his mannerisms and the way he says things, and it'll be a case that'll be studied for years to come. And, you know, just some of the phrasing he mentioned that made him believe that he was that kind of person. I thought that was really interesting. He brought out a lot of really good points. Mm-hmm. He said, you know, he also felt like it had to be someone close to him, someone he knew, because he talked about, you know, for child trafficking, if it were a case of child trafficking, they're not going to want a 15-year-old, because when you're trafficking, they want younger children, not someone that's going to age out in 2 or 3 years. They want someone that's going to be in it for a long time. And I thought that was a really good point, because people.
I actually thought that from the beginning. One of my points is that a special needs person is not somebody that you would look for something like that. Right.
So hard to manage and all of that.
Especially someone with a health issue that they would have to maintain along that way as well. So that theory doesn't make sense either.
Okay.
And similarly with the other girl we mentioned at the beginning of the show with, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. Turner, Angel Turner.
Mm-hmm.
She, you know, also 15, also kind of aging out of that. So that makes it less likely that she's probably entering.
There's been a lot of 15-year-olds lately.
Yeah. So I know. That's part of why it seems more like a groomer situation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Tia Nurse, you gonna read it?
Sure. I feel like he thinks he was kidnapped, but by someone very close to him, and possibly even planned by KP and CP. That's what I'm picking up from.
I agree.
I think that's a possible theory.
I agree.
What the part about it though is just, how do you ever reintroduce him and not go to prison? Because you can't just have him in hiding the rest of his life. Eventually, he's got to come out somewhere. Like 18 years old. I know, like sometimes when runaways run away, they come out and they're like, hey, I'm 18, I'm not missing anymore. But these parents, well, now that I'm saying out loud, unless he was on board. Could that be possible?
What?
I mean, there's so many possibilities. I change my mind constantly.
So what if Sebastian were on board with it? And he was like, yeah, I
want to go away.
I want to go away.
I mean, I guess.
But he still doesn't have his medicine.
Right. Well, the thing that I thought
that we know of,
the thing that he said that kind of, I was like, wow. He said, if things continue as they're going, it's going to become a cold case. And he said that'll be catastrophic for Sebastian because, it will just be an unsolved.
But what
case.
is, yeah, but see, it
does
always
that
comes
mean?
back to this thing, though. Why wouldn't they make it look like a runaway then? Why would they make it look like he just disappeared without his shoes or anything?
We talked about this. Why
Yeah.
not throw some
Yes,
clothes
we've
in
gone
a bag
over and over it.
clothes in a bag and some
That's-
money and
That's the hard part about these theories where he's alive. It's always about that it doesn't look like a runaway. When if you wanted him to look like a runaway that was going to reemerge at 18 years old,
Right.
then why wouldn't you pack a bag and make it look like he actually ran away?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's just that was one of the things he prefaced that whole show with was, this is a case that has so much weird stuff, even down to the sheriff of the town, passing away unexpectedly in an accident. And they said everything, every turn, every corner, something is strange or weird about the case. And I think that's why it's brought so many people in and following the case, because it's just not normal. It's just not been a normal case in any way, shape, or form.
It so nags at you, and you think you've got it figured out, and then you can't. Because, like, I was sitting there thinking, well, okay, what I really was playing that out in real time, thinking, well, what if he was on board? What if he was like, okay, I don't want to go do virtual school. Okay, I could go live in a cabin with distant cousins, whoever, and play video games all day with him and come back when I'm 18 and I was trying to play out that possible scenario, but the problem just ends up being his medicines and not making it look like a runaway, and them so massively implicating themselves.
Well, and he said without the podcast interviews, we would have nothing. If we didn't have that evidence from those podcast interviews with those first few, we really wouldn't have anything. If you took that evidence out, that all those podcasts that we heard at the beginning with CP and KP, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have anything. You take out the Duchess one and the is it Smileys and Chronicles of Olivia. I mean, you take those out.
Yeah.
You don't have anything.
Oh, no. Most of our understanding of everything is through those interviews.
I actually have that video up if you want to show everybody.
What's that?
I have the video of what you witnessed the other day.
Oh,
Do you remember? No, not that.
I know what you're talking about.
You're not. I don't know if you are.
Yeah.
Do you?
The processional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have it on mute so we don't have to hear the noise because I know there's noise.
There's a short part and then there's a long part.
Okay, I don't know. You sent me 7 minutes of something.
Oh, okay, that's the long. So I just happened to be going down.
I haven't gotten it pulled up yet.
Okay.
Chill out. Hold
Well,
on.
I just happened to be driving down Long Hollow Pike, and
I just want to point out that it's cloudy because Mr.
I never
E
clean my-
never cleans his camera
clean my lens. Yeah,
before he does
it wasn't like
anything.
foggy. It was just my dirty camera. But so anyway, this was the funeral procession for Sonny Weatherford.
It was purely accidental.
Yeah, I just happened to be going down that road. So,
Auntie, can
if
you pull
you-
that Tia Nurse comment down so
Yes.
I can
Yes.
do
Hang
this?
on. Okay.
if you this is Long Hollow Pike. So actually, if you drove down that road another 5 or 10 miles or whatever it is, you would be at
You're
the
cracking
Proudfoot's
me up.
home.
Look at
Oh my God, it's so dirty.
I think I'm also catching the rearview mirror a little there. But anyway,
yeah.
So this
Wow,
was,
look at the cops.
yeah. So there were some before this. It was all the motorcycles.
That's such a
And it
sad
was-
accident too. I mean, he just literally tripped and fell and hit his head. So sad.
Actually, I don't know that we're sure about that.
Oh, well, that's what the news article I read said
Yeah.
that he fell and hit his head. So
That's what was reported. Then Nick Baris. Well, at first it was just that he hit his head, and then Nick Baris reported that he thinks he fell and hit his head, and then after that it said he died of natural causes.
Maybe he fell because of natural causes.
Yeah, so,
could be and hit his head. Yeah. They didn't say that.
well, this is really some poor camera work by me.
I know.
It's the dirtiest
It's-
camera ever.
He never thinks.
This is not my my forte. the
Hey,
camera
Misty
take.
Fisher, glad you could join us even if it's late.
That's okay.
Hi,
Hi,
Misty.
Misty.
But so
How old was he? Do we know? Pretty old.
65-ish.
Okay, not so old.
Yeah, not. I mean, I think he was retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yes,
and then,
he was.
So it was shocking. This was shocking for everyone. Most of these police cars coming through here are going to be Sumner County Police.
Sheriffs.
Yeah, the sheriff department. And then there's some Hendersonville, Gallatin, Portland, White, a little bit of that. But the majority of these are Sumner County. One of the things I was thinking about sitting here was, one of the thoughts is that there's no funding for Sumner County Police, but there's a lot of police. And this isn't even all of them. I missed
how
all
long
the
did
motorcycle.
you video it?
This is a 7-minute procession.
And it's like cops the whole time.
Yeah, because he couldn't move because once that starts coming, you can't move.
Yeah.
That's just out of respect.
The first time I didn't realize what it was because they were driving in both lanes. And I just thought, oh, okay, I'll pull over. Then I started to go again. Then the motorcycles came up and it was like, oh, I see. This is a procession. So I was kind of stuck. And
I want to think he was like, I want to think he was near 70, wasn't he?
I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up.
Just pull it up.
I mean, he was rather old for a sheriff. But that was with Lur Lodge. That was just one, that he even mentioned this, and he said, it's just another 65. Okay,
good. I was right. Yeah, I'm not getting a Pulitzer for my camera work here at all.
No.
No.
But that
but what you said to me is that anybody says that this county doesn't have funding, there's a lot of police officers. So, I mean,
there's a lot of funding going down that road.
Yeah, there's a lot of police, and this is just the Sumner County, like 95% of these vehicles. Yeah, 95% of them are Sumner County sheriffs, and then they end up having a few Hendersonville, Portland, like almost like they send a few representatives to kind of ride in it as well. But it's almost all Sumner County.
Thank you, K-Mac. Thank you. I know you need to go to bed.
Thank you, K-Mac.
Oh, yeah. With the school schedule, we really shouldn't even be up as late as we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to get up pretty early, too. So
it says where was he buried? I'm not sure where he was buried. Do you guys know?
Find out.
They're heading in the direction of like
Long Hollow.
Yeah, right. Like towards Gallatin, so I'm not sure.
It's an antique picture quality, Rogue said. It's called dirty camera work.
Yeah, his wife has to fuss at him quite a bit to wipe his camera down whenever he's taking a picture of anything.
That's so funny.
See. Okay.
I mean, it's just going on and on.
The Crestview Memorial Gardens.
And like I said, I missed the first like 30 seconds of it, which was the bulk. I mean, it was like all the motorcycles. It was a ton of them.
I will say though, on his obituary, in lieu of flowers, donations, they asked that donations be made in the honor of Sheriff Weatherford to the Alzheimer's of Tennessee. So,
maybe he had a loved one that died of Alzheimer's.
That's true.
It doesn't say cause of death, does it?
Tennessee nurse said, I keep squinting like it's my eyesight blurred.
Tell me about it.
I really had no idea how bad this was until
tell me about it.
Until I got up here on the big screen. I was like, this is good. Oh. People might like to see the procession.
That's so funny.
I mean, but it's long.
It is.
I mean, it's
still going on. It's not looping, is it? No, it's not. I mean,
still got many more minutes. That's crazy.
Well, at least you'll know if anybody uses your footage because it's got this cloudy haze.
It's almost like having one of those watermarks. It's just, if you know, if it's super poor quality, you know it's mine.
That's hysterical.
Somebody, I am too. Bear says we aren't courteous like that up here. Traffic goes on. No one stops. It's a Southern thing.
Yeah.
And it is a Southern tradition, but I see that, and I saw that in Kentucky, Tennessee. I see it in Florida. I see it in Georgia.
I didn't know it was a Southern thing. I thought everybody stopped all over the country. I didn't know
no,
that.
I don't think they do.
It could be.
The Mystic Firefly says they stop in Canada.
Canadians are known for being super nice. So there you go. I don't know. Okay, so did you decide to go and you're like, oh, better not?
Well, it's actually cleaner. What did he do?
I think.
Oh,
I think
were
I
you
started-
doing it through the dash?
He was doing it through the windshield. The windshield's dirty.
I think part of it was I was catching part of the rear view or the side view mirror, and it was also not helping with the focus. And I started to realize that part way through. But anyway, so yeah, it's just so many of them. Yeah, so this has got to be getting towards the end. I think even some Goodlettsville and Davidson County came in.
I do have a question though about this because I've had this trouble myself. When you see a funeral processional and you're on the interstate, do you pull over?
I don't think.
No, I don't think.
I think it's a safety issue on the interstate. You can't just stop on multi-lane traffic and stop.
So Lisa says San Diego doesn't stop either. I just didn't know. I just assumed
And Dreaming in
everybody-
Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches is in Kentucky and Ohio. We stop and pull over and wait the entire time for the funeral to go by. Yeah. Yeah, he was the chief of police.
there's
So
our
much
dad.
respect. And that's our dirty
Console.
console. Let me just take that down real quick. Oh, my
That's
stars.
funny.
Look how dusty it is. Okay, maybe now that I'll get you to detail it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh my stars, that's crazy.
Well, that went great.
He was the chief of police. Much respect.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, he was the sheriff. So
and Diane says it's a thought that counts, Mister.
Yes. So imagine it like that, but clearer is basically what happened.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's what it would look like if you had cataracts.
I did
No, I'm
like.
just kidding.
I did like that they.
That's.
I don't know. I like ceremony and things like that. So it is nice that they do that. I think. So it's it's good. It's a good thing those processions like that. He deserved that.
Oh, of course he did.
And so and it has it tangentially relates to the Sebastian situation because of all the shakeups that will happen at the sheriff's department.
Oh wait, did I see that Lisa had a birthday somewhere? Did I say see that?
Stop after moving.
All right, Lisa.
Lisa said she had to learn to stop after moving to Kentucky.
Oh, all right, Lisa. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday.
We like to do fun things for our friends.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Even if it's not your birthday. Maybe if it's close to your birthday. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to do. Oh, yes, the 9th. Leo. She's a Leo. Lisa's a Leo.
Oh, the 9th?
The 9th would be
Oh, of
Leo.
August. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. Oh, people are saying thank you for sharing it, and everybody's saying happy birthday. Also, I know what I was going to say. Our sweet Olivia mod, Olivia B is feeling under the weather. So let's, if you guys want to add her to your prayers tonight, we'd appreciate it. And of course, as always, please add Sebastian to your prayers
Every night.
Every night.
Do you have anything you want to add tonight? I mean, I think I got through my list actually.
Yeah,
which doesn't usually happen.
he actually was talking. He was like, "We're not going to get through my
Like,
list."
there was no way I was going to get through all this, but we actually did it.
Yeah, we did it.
So that's good. Actually, I got through a little more than I thought it would.
Oh, let's see. Tia Nurse has homework for us.
My homework for you guys is to find out what Sebastian was looking at on that laptop that was seized. I still feel that would be very telling. It sure triggered some things, and possibly CP's final straw.
I think that she's saying about the one that
The alleged
poker
poker.
party alleged
And
Danny guy.
there's been a lot of speculation about that and a lot of information, but we still haven't heard it from a 100% credible source to know for sure what happened there.
Oh, Jan wanted to know.
The reason we haven't talked about that is because it is an anonymous single source, and so
She might not have been here for that part.
Yeah, she wasn't, but that we were talking about that because there's so many of these stories like this with different creators where they have their own sources that they might trust, but we can't vet them. So if we end up getting a second source at some point, they can confirm that, but I just don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
So
we would love to know.
Yeah. And it wouldn't, and even something like that doesn't mean anything about like Terry Lynn or whatever. Even her source might be a legitimate source, but they might be feeding her bad information. And when we don't know who that person is, we can't make a determination,
right,
on if they might be trying to deceive her. Like, because a thing that people that are guilty could do is plant bad info out there to try to muddy the waters. To throw people down rabbit holes that they don't need to go. I mean, that's a strategy that a savvy criminal might attempt. So that's part of why we don't.
It's nothing against anybody. It's just that we try to.
But if you have a source, please email us and send us your information.
Yeah. We would just need we would need at least a second source, or know who that person was ourselves, like talk to them ourselves, or have them reveal themselves, which I'm going to guess if they haven't now.
I think, but we know on some of our sources who the people are, and we're still not revealing it.
Right.
But we don't have.
We need multiple sources.
I'd have to talk to you off camera about some of them. Why? There's other reasons.
Well, no. Yes. Well, okay. We'll talk about it off camera.
I'll talk about it.
Okay. Let's get to Jan's question.
Jan, hello, crime crew. Still have what I think is an important question. Does anyone know who ended the 3-hour call yet? We have asked that question. We don't know.
We still don't know.
As far as I can tell, they have never answered that question. And I think it's a good.
It's a good question.
Very good question, because
that goes back to the forensics. They should be able to look at the phone forensics and know exactly what the details were of the calls.
Because if Chris ends the call at say 11:45, then he has a solid alibi in Memphis at 11:45. It would make it almost impossible for him to be in Hendersonville that night and back to Memphis at, depending on what you believe, 5:15 or 6 o'clock the next morning. I mean, it would be just about impossible to do. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a good one. And we don't, as far as I know, they've never been asked or answered that question.
Rosebud, I real quick want to say, we will be praying for you as well. Rosebud's been sick since 7:30 with shingles, COVID, and now a double ear infection. I have been sick. I haven't been this sick in years. I'm on the mend though. Well, goodness sakes. Yeah, we'll be praying for you as well. And we are glad you're getting better. That stinks.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
Quadruple whammy.
Yeah, no kidding. And then there was some other stuff Poppy. That's funny that you say that, Poppy. Poppy says, if you look at body language, watch Craddock nod his head yes.
There's no evidence of foul play. It's just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did.
We pointed that out too. That's funny.
Yeah.
With each other, not online.
Yeah, I love those. I love when people do that when they're saying the opposite. Those are some. I like the body language stuff. It's not a perfect science, but yes, he definitely did that when he said that.
All right, TN Nurse is not mad at you for that.
Why would you? Why would you be mad? Highly respected that you guys handle information the appropriate way.
Oh.
Yeah, well, thanks. We're just.
Does it have anything to do with like the UT connection?
It absolutely does.
Just kidding.
Sure.
He loves UT.
Yeah,
most people in Tennessee.
If you find that we call on and read Tennessee Nurses stuff a little more often, it's just my inherent bias. We all have our biases.
Let's see. SS Butterfly Kiss says, sweet.
I really liked your information earlier about the phone tech forensics.
I know, that's fascinating.
Yeah. She told us this off air the other day, and I was like, wow, we got to talk about that on the show. That's good.
Well, I mean, there's so much. If you ever get into the Murdaugh case, all of that's on YouTube where you can watch everybody testify, but then they also have that phone forensics up there and show the number of steps and the number of pings, and it's crazy.
And if Murdaugh goes again, we'll all get to watch it again.
Well, maybe we'll do a live on about Murdoch and kind of get everybody caught up on that case before it comes
Ooh,
up.
it's a doozy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, she's been obsessed with it.
I've
So-
like watched it for days now. I mean, it's like I don't watch TV. All I do is watch people testify.
Justice Forano. Seems to me that Sebastian was being repressed in every aspect of his growing life. He was not given the room or space to live and learn with love, support, and understanding, in my opinion. Yeah, the more we learn, it doesn't look like it was great. And I accidentally took it off of the one you were wanting.
Oh, that's okay. But that's actually something we were actually, Ginger Girl, we were talking about that today. You know, we've been hearing this rumor go around, but people
Lur
are
Lodge
claiming
spoke
it's
about it too.
okay.
Oh,
Well,
he
what,
did?
what
Yes.
interview?
Oh, Lord. So, okay. Because I know Clutch Them Pearls has a source.
No, Nina asked specifically when he called. That was one of the things that he was documenting, and she said, "Weren't there cameras in the home? Because they used to." Chris could actually on the home camera supposedly see him getting into his snacks and
Oh.
food, and tell him, "Hey, put that down. That's not your snack."
Okay, so what video is this on? Is it on the Nina video?
No, Lur Lodge.
No. I mean, where did it originate for him to get this information?
He said Nina. He mentioned Nina.
So is it on the Nina video?
He didn't say where the source was, but he felt
Okay,
like there
everybody.
was-
Okay, Sharon Shelton says Nina. Yeah, so I've got to watch that again. I
Okay,
watched.
we had missed this somehow.
I watched the bulk of it, but it was so long ago. I think I was so overwhelmed with information. I didn't.
Well, you know,
Well, I think that was on the onset when she talked about what she said when he called her and said Sebastian was missing, and she said, "Weren't there cameras inside the home?"
well, this is a great example, actually, of what we were talking about. So this was one of the stories I was hesitant to talk about was the camera, because that's why we were talking about it. We couldn't confirm it. We knew that Clutch Them Pearls had a source in the neighborhood that he's been talking to for a while and has occasionally given information. We're like, well,
It's not that we don't trust him or like
Yeah,
him. It's
he's been
just
very
that
nice.
he's been very kind to us. It's not that. It's just
our
just kind of our policy, and it's been
Yeah.
our policy.
We've really tried to stick to this
Forever.
just to be careful. But so we were trying to see if it was out there anywhere else. And we kind of had a lingering memory that we'd heard this in an interview, maybe
was in that
something about a
Nina
camera in the
stuff.
back.
In the
Uh,
beginning.
And I remember he did say something also about like when asked about cameras in the house, he said he couldn't talk about it. I remember that happened. But so if Nina also talked, well, then it's pretty much, you could pretty much bank on it. If Nina and Clutch Them Pearls, his source, that's pretty solid. And plus the caginess from Chris himself not wanting to answer it.
Oh, and
So-
Misty, you're not on the blocked list. Sorry.
But okay, so now that we can kind of establish that this is a pretty close to solid fact that this camera was in the
Merge
Hi,
is back.
Merge. Well, maybe we should just go later. We missed some folks. They couldn't come on till late.
Oh, Merge. Nice to see you. Whoops. Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
Trevor.
Okay. Got it.
right. I
Got
guess
it.
we
There is
just,
a couple different places then
No.
that's coming from.
but
I
if
feel like
that's
there needs to be a wiki with all this stuff.
I know, right?
Right? Speaking of that, Auntie, remind me after the show. I have to have Mr. E tell you something funny.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and yes.
Oh, okay. Mystic. No, not Mystic. Sorry. Ginger Girl says Terry Lynn's interview with CP brought up the cameras inside the
Okay.
house.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go through that too.
That sounds right. Because I haven't listened to that one in a while. We should probably go back to that one.
Yeah, I wasn't listening for stuff like that. I was just kind of like wide-eyed on that one.
Yeah. The flirtiness with him was kind of the standout in
That
that way.
one was bad.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the camera thing over the refrigerator is crazy to me. I mean, how controlling.
Yeah,
Well,
he's been saying that.
It makes sense though, because Katie specifically talks about having to get him snacks, and he was only allowed to eat his snacks. He couldn't eat Chris's.
Yeah, but
food.
what kind of person puts a security camera over your refrigerator to make sure a teen boy doesn't get one of your snacks. There's something psychopathic about that.
All right.
Don't you think? I mean, that's crazy control.
Well,
if that's true, yes.
Yeah, if that's true, right? Exactly, because we don't know. I will say though, I said this to him because we were actually out buying snacks today. I said, "Can you imagine denying your kids food?" And I said, if it was unhealthy food, if you're worried about your kid going in there and getting unhealthy foods, then what would your first thought be? Don't buy unhealthy foods. Have fruit sitting around. Have, things that are, not chocolate and junk.
And it's not like this kid had a weight problem. He's a little kid.
He was underweight.
Yeah, he actually was underweight
for his age. So
there's something really there's that's just a very troubling sign. It
is troubling.
What else was going on? What else was going on if you're putting cameras on the refrigerator?
Well, early on, Peter Hyatt was talking about the food. I don't know. We might want to go back and watch the old Peter Hyatt, like the original one, because he talks about the food in that.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, why is this guy picking up on food?
It's a sense of control, right? It's a control thing.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go back and watch the original Peter Hyatt on this because he does mention food.
He does.
Yeah. That's really disturbing. To me, that's disturbing. To go to that effort, and that you have, and another thing we're supposed to believe, if we're supposed to believe this whole deal, that he's so protective of his snacks that he's got a security camera on his refrigerator, but not on his home.
Yeah.
Protecting his wife and stepson.
He's worried about what's going on inside, not what's going on outside.
Doesn't have running cameras to protect his house, but the snacks, that's gold. That's what we're supposed to believe.
Yeah.
It's it's part of this.
Oh.
Another hole in their story, really.
Okay, Rogue said, I haven't heard that.
Oh, I missed Misty's.
Oh, sorry.
Rogue says, claims he didn't want to gain weight like his father. I don't believe that was the case, in my opinion.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, that Sebastian may have said something like that?
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I had not heard that.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that, Mystic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they had one whole interview where we found out everything about him liking the Martinelli apple juice in the little glass bottles, and we heard all about his snacking and all this stuff that he liked. But they can't tell you anything else. But they can tell you about all these snacks.
I think that I think that interview was supposed to be, more about, like what he liked and what he didn't like, and
But it was all about food.
Well, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. It wasn't like he liked to go out and play soccer or he liked to X, Y, and Z. They only talked about food.
We have never really gone down this, but Misty's saying too the amount of times.
Where's Misty?
Oh, it's up. The amount of times KNC brought up snacks is ridiculous.
That's true.
It
is kind of weird.
There might be just like a thing there because it's true. They did. I mean. When they started doing those interviews where it was like, man, could we ask, you're hoping that they're going to ask some relevant questions, and they spend like 30 minutes talking about what they get at the store. But maybe that was kind of like important to them.
Nurse, did you see my message about that?
Did Seth ever state was medications he was given for sleep? Has clonidine been mentioned as one?
I've heard guanfacine and fluvoxamine.
Yeah, and melatonin. I don't remember clonidine being mentioned.
But we are familiar with clonidine.
Mm-hmm.
Our son used to take it.
Yeah.
And it can be very dangerous. Let's see.
Yeah. Real Me Too. If you have to sneak snacks. Let's see. If you have to sneak snacks, that just speaks for itself. Yeah, I mean, teenagers are you know, you let them eat. You just let them eat because they need it. If they're, you know, I remember the doctor telling us years ago.
Oh, Charlene.
When we were talking about, well, we were worried about them overeating, undereating, all these kinds of things. And basically the doctors are like, if they're hungry, let them eat.
Okay.
You know, when they're full, they'll stop eating, you know, unless you've got a child that's got a serious weight kind of problem that you're trying to help them with.
Okay. I think we need to wrap it up, Mr. E.
Yeah.
The doggies
are ready for bed.
Are coming over, scratching my arm.
Well, this was interesting. I didn't think we were going to be talking about the refrigerator thing, but it's interesting. We might have to go, but it's such a strange.
Well, put it in the chat, or actually wait and comment after the video's over so we can see it. What?
Like,
what would be a good question? Like about the snacks. Something about, do you believe? I don't know. What's a good question, Mr. E? It's your show.
Well, I don't know. It's not my show.
It is his show.
No, it's really not my show. It's supposed to be all of our show. Yeah.
Okay.
If you could pick one snack, what would it be?
No. Do you believe the snack stories? I don't know. Well, we don't.
Do you think there was a camera inside the home?
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Do you think there were cameras inside the home and that's how they know for a fact that he walked out the door? Is that possible? Whether he was lured at the door is a whole other story. Would that be how they are certain?
But wouldn't we already know that?
No. Why would we?
They're holding stuff back.
They're like just the stuff that we've told you that we know has been held back. Yeah. And that's a biggie.
That is a biggie.
So
it would change the course of the whole thing.
Yep, it would. So everybody gets mad when we do that. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to stop doing that.
We got to stop doing that.
We'll slip and tell it.
Charlene said the how do you say that? I know there's a better way.
I'm missing her.
It's right here.
Oh, I heard Respradol.
Respradol.
I don't know that drug.
I know that one. I've heard of it.
Yeah. But anyway, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you for coming in, everybody. We will. We probably won't be back until sometime after Saturday.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we've got
barring some kind of like a emergency announcement in this case.
Yeah.
That would be about the only way, I think, because we've got a lot going on this weekend. So maybe Sunday, Monday, somewhere in that range, I think is probably what we're looking at. But thank you so much for coming in tonight. We appreciate all of you.
Well, that's a good one too. I didn't think about that. I think the cameras was the focus in the landfill. They were looking for cameras that might have been thrown away.
Were they looking for snacks?
Snacks.
Just kidding.
But that's an interesting concept.
If they were gone. Yeah, if they were gone. That's possible.
I don't know. I think that that's the thing. We could get going on this whole thing, but that's the thing with the landfill is like, what, 3 days into this investigation, they start looking at a landfill with a runaway case.
Right.
That kind of says it all.
Yeah.
Right.
So at any rate, well, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Tit for Tat and K-Mac and
the Real Me
Misty and the Real Me Too. Real Me Too, even though she's not an official moderator, has been doing a great job tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate you dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches, Mystic Firefly, Charlene, Merge, all of our friends. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
All of our members.
All of our members and all of our subscribers. You know, we appreciate all of you guys. I would also appreciate on your way out if you wouldn't mind to hit that like button if you haven't already, because it does help us stay up in the algorithm. And also Sharon Shelton, Lisa, all you guys, we appreciate you so much. I am Two Bear. I'm just kind of going through. Veronica, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate you. And Fat Bottom Girl, congratulations again. And prayers for our Olivia, prayers for Sebastian. Prayers for Misty's mom. Misty's mom's still in the hospital.
And Rosebud.
Prayers for Rosebud. Happy birthday if we missed you. And you guys have a great night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Oh, and this is a new video. Did I not mention Tip for Tat? I forgot.
I did at the beginning that she
Well,
did the videos for us.
Well, she made us a new video for the closer. And I
I
hope
haven't
you
seen
guys
this.
like it.
Okay. Be
And
new to me.
especially thank you to Tip for Tat for all of her help and love and support. We appreciate her.
Thank you, Misty.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Misty, you didn't have to do that. You sweet
Thank
girl.
you.
Thank you so much.
As much as C and K brought up snacks, in my opinion, it has significance to what happened to Sebastian.
See, Misty doesn't want
You
us
might
to.
be
She
right.
doesn't want us to end.
I think we might start. We might maybe go back and look at stuff involving
Yeah,
food.
I think maybe we
That
should
might
all
be-
work together and figure out some of this food stuff.
Go
What do
back
you
and
guys
look at the
think?
interviews involving food. Might be interesting.
And you know what? Oh, I can't pull it up. I will put it. Misty, I know that your mom is has a GoFundMe for her medical expenses, and I keep meaning to put it up in the community tab. I will do that tomorrow. And prayers for you and your mom and everybody else. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Hope she's continuing to get better.
Yes, we do too.
Yes.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding